Okay, welcome to Dummies for Sports, everyone. We got Yehuda back with a second straight week of a podcast, back and ready to roll. We have a lot of topics to cover, a lot of controversial stuff going on in the NFL this week. Fourth downs, big topic. How often should you go for it? Our team's too aggressive. Phillip Rivers coming off the couch after a 5-year retirement. Pretty wild. And some big, again, as we go down the stretch in the NFL, some big playoff leverage games. We're going to discuss all of it coming up.
I think you might notice a little bit of a different voice right now leading you off. That is because I, Yehuda, the original guest star.
You're not a guest. You're one of us. We have to be switching our whole name because of you.
Don't give away our secrets.
But you knew, the Ravens need one touchdown. The Broncos might score one more field goal. So if you get one more touchdown, you win 10-9. Call it a day. You can win 10-9.
I'm going to go with the Commanders as well, just because it's too much of a question mark over there under center for the
I can't believe you saw that right now. That's asinine. You're crazy.
He's got the full package.
No way. I don't care. No way. I can't even. It's hard to even look at you right now when you say something like that. That's crazy. Okay. And guess what? In basketball, you use a basketball. In football, you use a football.
All right, we're back at it. Dummies for Sports. Week 15 in the NFL. Some crazy stuff to cover. But first, how are we feeling, guys, on this beautiful Wednesday night?
Feeling like we got robbed on Sunday. But we'll get into that.
It's Rocky, you're living a little bit paradisical weather over there. Yehuda's a little cold. I know it's cold here. I don't know what's colder, Utah right now or Baltimore, but we're sure it's cold.
I say there's a reason that there are so many primetime games in Los Angeles, right? The broadcast booth wants an excuse to have good weather. Of course, everywhere else in the country at this point, it's cold. So, but over here we got 80 degrees. The truth is, I prefer 70, but we'll get that next week. So, whatever you prefer, we'll get that as well.
What?
I know, beggars can't be choosers, right? Yeah. So we have a lot of stuff to cover, and the big headline, Phillip Rivers. We're going to get to that, I think, a little soon. I wanted to start off with the fourth down decisions and some of these controversial things that are happening in the NFL this week, because there's been a lot of talk about what's happening this week, from the Isaiah Likely thing to Aaron Rodgers to the Chiefs going for it on fourth down, Bears Packers, some controversial calls in that game. And we could spend the whole podcast talking about the refs. Some people find it interesting. Some people find it less interesting. But I want to discuss more what should be the approach moving forward for these teams, right? When it comes to fourth down decisions, the Chiefs went for it on 4th and 1. What was it? From their own 28-yard line? From their own 29-yard?
Yeah. Something around their own 30.
The game. So the scenario was it was 10-10. Tie game, about 5.5 minutes left, right?
Oh,
more?
10 minutes.
10 minutes left. 10 minutes left in the game, and instead of you punt it 4th and 1.5, you give the Chiefs an opportunity to kick a field goal, but at the same time it's 4th and 1.5. Mahomes is on those fourth down must-have situations. Nobody's been better at Mahomes extending the play, finding someone in the last second situations. On the other hand, the Chiefs defense was playing so well, and you didn't want to give the Texans a short field. How did you feel, Yehuda, about that decision from the Chiefs to go for it there?
Yeah, horrendous decision. I heard something about, ironically, what got Andy Reid fired from Philly was, obviously coming up short and never winning a Super Bowl there. Just reaching a bunch of NFC Championship games and then eventually finally breaking through, but then losing to Patriots. But they always said his clock management and his too conservative style. Back then, it was not as vogue as it is now to go for it on fourth down. Obviously we know Dan Campbell and analytics and everybody goes for it now. So it's ironic because we wanted him to, or I think the correct decision would have been to punt. Maybe for some reason, the analytics say to go for it in this case because it's less than 3 yards, and usually they say go for it if it's less than 3 yards. I know it is your own 30, but you got to feel the game. And like in that moment, your defense is playing amazing, as you said. You don't want to give their offense any momentum. If you don't get it, you you give them such a short field and then already in field goal range. They have a solid kicker, Fairbairn, and then ironically they end up scoring a touchdown. But I know you want to trust your guys, and you have Patrick Mahomes, and he's so good in these situations. But feel the game. Like the Texans defense is really good. You had drops. You still have 10 and a half minutes left. You can punt the ball away, play the field position game, and get a stop. Even if they get 10, 20 yards, they're going to punt eventually. And then you try again with the ball back, and then maybe you give Mahomes a chance for the classic dagger, go down the field and kick a game-winning field goal and win the game 13-10. Instead, you go for it at your own 30, which, like, I love going for it. I love being aggressive, but feel the game. That was not the right decision. Punted away. Your defense playing awesome, and it may have cost the Chiefs their chance. I mean, it definitely cost the Chiefs their chance to win the division. May have cost the Chiefs the chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I follow up on that. I mean, Andy Reid, to quote Andy Reid after the game when asked about it, he said, "I put the guys offensively in a tough position with the fourth down call. I was trying to stay aggressive with it. I take full responsibility for that. I thought we could get it. It's important that you take advantage of opportunities. In hindsight, it was wrong. I messed that one up." I mean, that's a big mess up. I mean, first of all, I wish I had the drive going on in front of me. I don't. But, I mean, the Texans were struggling to move the ball. So you punt it there. It's not great field position. Maybe they start at regular field position anywhere from the 20 to the 30-yard line. Maybe they punt return a little better. But at the end of the day, they have to drive down the field. You literally put them in scoring position. And obviously they scored slightly right after. I mean, that was a very horrible decision. And, there's not much more else really to go on that. I mean, listen, if that was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and the Chiefs did something like this, first of all, they'd probably get it. Second of all, they'd probably get a penalty that would give it to them either way. But also, on top of all that, I do believe either way that you could have said, okay, that's the Chiefs. Okay, so they messed it up. They'll get the ball back. They'll drive down the field. Even though it's the Texans defense, 2-3 years ago, I would have trusted Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs offense to be like, yeah, we can mess this one up. We'll get the next one, even if they score here. But now the Chiefs don't score like that. They don't drive the field like that. They're not that team anymore. So it's a horrible call. And, I mean, obviously that's not – when we talk about being aggressive on fourth down and going for, I don't think we mean from your own 30-yard line. I think usually we're trying to – we mean from, the other team's 30-yard line.
In a tie game with 10 and a half minutes left. And
yeah, it just and it wasn't like a high-scoring affair where, it was 10-10. I mean, we're not talking about, it's 35-35 and, they're going to score because it's just been back and forth like that. No, both defenses are playing very, very strong. So, yeah, I don't understand the call. I don't think it's going to get Andy Reid fired anytime soon. But I'm sure people are and his players are unhappy about that decision.
So you said I pulled up the game log. The second half, they weren't playing that well in the first half, but the Texans offense was a little better. But then second half, Chiefs were shutting them down. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 6 and out. That was the previous 5 drives in the second half.
He literally handed it to them.
Feel the game. And yeah, it made me think about the Rocky, if you remember this one, the Patriots Colts when Belichick went for it at his own 28 when it was Brady.
Of course, against the Colts, right, yeah, that's right.
Because that one was like Meisty said, it's a high scoring game. You're not going to stop them. You got to trust your best guy, which was Tom Brady, and it was a questionable call to go for it your own 30 there, but whatever. Your defense wasn't getting a stop. This game, your defense is playing great. It's not Peyton Manning on the other sideline. It's no disrespect to C.J. Stroud. He's playing fine, but he's not Peyton Manning. And, you got to punt it away.
Well, I mean, disrespect to C.J. Stroud. He's not playing well, and that probably goes into account when you make that decision as well. But, of course, when you're playing Peyton Manning, also there was very couple minutes left in that game against the Colts. So this game, there's 10 minutes left, as you said. It's not do or die by any stretch. But it got me wondering because, like, you know, Collinsworth was saying on the call, analytically, this is the right thing to do. But everyone kind of has this feeling of game flow, right? The game is going a certain way, and you kind of got to feel out how the game's going. And someone made this point. I can't remember who said it. If it's Bills Chiefs, Bengals Bills, the game that happened earlier in that game, the day, right? And the Bills are down by, or it's a tie game. It's 28-28, right? And the Bills are in the exact same spot, 4th and 1. Okay, I understand. Go for it at your own 30. Like, nobody's stopping anyone this game. If you give the Bengals the ball back at their 30, at your 30, doesn't make a difference. They're going to get down there anyway. So what's the difference? But they say when you feel out the game flow in a game like this where the Texans had 265 yards of total offense, right? I mean, it wasn't like they were moving the ball down the field anyway. Giving them a short field, simply giving them a field goal could have been the difference between winning and losing. In fact, it was. They didn't score again, but that's not even the point. At the time, you know that giving them a field goal could be the difference between winning and losing. So although the analytics might say go for it by small percentages from that point in the field, there is something intuitively that didn't feel right about it.
Yeah, I mean, also, I don't like the play call. I really didn't like the play call. I mean, throwing it is one thing. This just wasn't a good play call. And against the Texans defense and that defensive line who was putting pressure all day, can make you move, can make you very uncomfortable. I mean, Patrick Mahomes was very uncomfortable back there all day. I really don't like it. I really, really did not like the play call. I don't think it was the right move. I mean, I could see it being done other places on the field. I could see it being done, but I don't even think Dan Campbell would have gone for it there.
I don't know. I mean, it was the 30. Dan Campbell did go for it at like his own 40 or 45 in that Sunday night game against the.
But again, that's a 45. That's not field goal position. That's not field goal range. I mean, it's close. You could still technically get a 3-and-out stop, and maybe they kick a field goal, but you really just put them right in scoring position. It made no sense.
Yeah, the down and distance was really. So here's. I want to pull this chart up. I sent to you guys, and I'm going to pull up the chart of like what the analytics say, when to go for it, when to not go for it. You asked me point blank last week, Meisty, what do you think about it? Going for it, not going for it? And I'm like, well, it's a very nuanced discussion. There's a lot of different factors. Where are you on the field? What's the down and distance? What team are you playing against? That's a factor, right? Of course that's a factor. I think that's probably a factor in the conversion rate. If this team stops the opponent on 4th down 70% of the time, and you convert it on 4th down only 30% of the time, even though it's 4th and 1, maybe it, So let's pull up this chart. Everyone can see it. Here's what I found very interesting here, okay? So there seems to be like a clear zone in the NFL of like if you're near midfield and it's 4th and 2 or less, everyone's starting to come around to the fact that you should probably go for it. Yep. And this backs it up, right? So you're here, own 40 to 50 midfield. 4th and 1, 65% conversion rate. So you have a 65% chance of getting it near midfield. That's kind of where that comes from. 4th and 2, it's a toss-up. And honestly, it's 50%. And honestly, a toss-up makes sense. If you're near midfield, the downside's not that great. You could punt it. Chances are they'll start at the 20. They only need 25 yards to get to the 45-yard line anyway. Go for it. You got a coin flip to continue the drive and you're 10 yards away from field goal range. Heck, nowadays you're 5 yards away from field goal range at that rate, right? The way these kickers are kicking. So, and that's another factor, of course, right? That how far these guys can kick it. So that's why I think over here you'll see that it. And then when you get to 4th and 3, it's such an interesting thing in the NFL. 4th and 1, anything more than your own 40, the analytics say go for it. When it comes to 4th and 2, gets a little dicier. 4th and 3 in the analytical world is a big drop-off because you go down to 40% chance to convert a 4th and 3, right? And that's only from your own 40-50. If it's from your own 20, then it's only a 35% chance to convert to 4th and 3. So to me, and then you look at when you go a little further back into your own thing, into your own zone, own 20 to 40. The scenario with the Chiefs was about 4th and 2, 4th and 1.5. Was about 50% because between 4th and 1 and 4th and 2 is about 50%. So the analytics would say 50-50 shot, take a chance. But again, game flow has to be taken into consideration. And I think with these 4th down decisions in general, it's become a very interesting topic where, our team's too aggressive. I think that's what everyone wants to know. Our team's too aggressive. Are we going for it too much on fourth down? Are Dan Campbell of 70% of the time just going out there? Dan Campbell's if it's 4th and 5 or less, and I'm not at my own 35-yard line, I'm going for it. Is that too much? Should we not do? Dan Campbell's anti-analytics, interestingly, because Dan Campbell goes so extreme that there are times where the analytics say don't go for it, and he goes for it. So my question to you guys is it becoming too much in the NFL to go for these fourth downs this often?
Well, I got to say, it's definitely more exciting. So I love that they're doing it because it definitely ramps up the pressure. And I wouldn't say it's too much because, doing that your own 35 is too much. But the flip side of that is the statistics don't care about the individual, or the individual doesn't care about statistics. I forget exactly how it is. It's like you have the 45% chance, your 70% chance, as you were saying about, or your 65% chance when it's 4th and 1. But every single play is its own instance. So you could pull some terrible play call, like the Ravens' 3rd down play call RPO against the Steelers. They lost 2 yards, and that wasn't 4th down. But you could pull some terrible play call, and then the whole thing just blows up in your face, and that never was a 65% chance to begin with. So every single play is its own. It doesn't happen in a vacuum, but every single play is its own vacuum in a sense. So I do still think anything between if you're past the 50 and you're punting, and it's 4th and 4, 4th and 5 or less, and you're punting when you're already on the opponent's side of the 50, that's just wussy football, unfortunately. And I think most people have realized that. Besides for a guy like maybe Mike McCoy on the these Jeff Fisher types who are still stuck in the 1990s, and they're like, oh, the computer
Mike Tomlin.
said, Mike Tomlin is So no one really does that, and they're punting when they're past the opponent's 50. But at the same time, there definitely is taking it too far when you're going for it at your own 35 or your own 30 when it's 4th and 1. And it's a 10-10 game, and there's 10.5 minutes left. That's too far. So it's a balance. And I think the good thing about those plays is they add more context to coaches and more data when you realize that those are failing and you're giving your opponent such good field position, and then it'll cause them to rethink and be like, we probably shouldn't be going for this. So you're learning the hard way because you're going for it. They should know, and from practice and stuff, they shouldn't be going for it at that time. But once they keep going for it and attempting and failing, then at least they'll hopefully learn for the future to not be that aggressive.
Like you said, and I'm going to agree with Yehuda a lot on this one. I think once you're past the 50, if you have a good kicker, you're looking to kick, and if you have a chance at getting the first down, and you have a good play call, and the game flow has been, hey, we can drive the ball, you got to take your shot. This is an offensive game. The ball moves, people move, players. It's a game, but again, like we both, we're all saying this, that it's kind of the game flow. But yeah, I don't like going for it when you're in your own side of the field. I think it's a little silly. You give them a good chance. Obviously, depends on the game. I hate when teams who are completely out of it, teams that have missed the playoffs, teams that stink, and they're at the 40. They're on their opponent's 35, 40-yard line, and they punt it, or they don't, or they're down by 35 points and they're kicking field goals. What are we doing?
Unless it's 4th and 10. So you should be going for it.
Look, and you know what? Take a shot at the end zone. I don't care. Turn the ball over on that. do something. Like you want when you're out of the play, when you're the Browns or the Raiders or the Cardinals, I mean any of these teams, and you're at the 35-yard line, it's 4th and 7, 4th and 6, I don't care what it is, and if you took a shot to the end zone, first of all, no one's watching your game. No one's even gonna know. But when you punt it, we know. Because everyone's like, why are they punting it? They stink. And you're just putting yourself in a bad spotlight to be like, this is why they stink. This coach stinks. This offensive coordinator stinks. This whole team stinks. But that's only because, we all see it. But if you went for it, no one's sitting there being like, oh, why did they go for it on 4th and 6 at the 35-yard line? They went for it because they had nothing to lose. If you're trying out, if you have a rookie kicker and you want to send him out, maybe. Okay, so get him some reps. But if you're just a guy in Carlos Santos or whatever his name is your kicker, what are you doing? He's probably going to miss. What are you doing? So I'm all for going for it, being aggressive, stay aggressive. I mean, if you're a team that matters and you need a win, and then it's about the game flow and it's about field position and how the game is going, But I like when coaches are aggressive. And, it could pay off. And sometimes it doesn't pay off, but it can pay off majorly.
Yeah, I also, there's an interesting thing in the NFL where, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, the trend wasn't to go for it necessarily, right? I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a point in time where 4th and 1 at your own 45, very few teams ever went for that. And it wasn't that long ago. It was maybe 10 years ago, right? 4th and 2, certainly not. You're punting the ball and certainly not kicking a field goal from the opponent's 45, a 63-yarder. You only did that at the end of a half or at the end of the game if it was desperation time. It's the only time you ever did it. Even at the end of a game, you forego a 63-yarder to try to hit a Hail Mary like that. It's a different game. Even the last 10 years, it's changed so much. I kind of feel like 5-6 years ago, you had teams like the Commanders, and you had teams like, Brandon Staley got very famous for this, and of course Dan Campbell, were ahead of the curve. And John Harbaugh also was, by the way, aggressive before a lot of other coaches were. There were certain coaches which were ahead of the curve, and they were going for it far before all these other teams were. And that kind of gave them an advantage, right? Because it gives you extra possessions for the most part. Because, you play the percentages. 4th and 1, 65% of the time you convert it. So if you go for it on 4th and 1 and they don't, you're going to end up coming on top, majority of the time. But now everyone's doing it. Does it give you an advantage anymore? And does it give you a disadvantage anymore, right? Because at the same time that I'm going to go for it, you're also going to go for it if you're in my shoes, right? Most likely. So it becomes this interesting dynamic where it's not as risky as it used to be, but it doesn't give you as much upside as it used to be. Are we back to square one? That's, I think, the most fascinating thing about this whole thing. They're going for it on 4th down.
That's a great point. And that's a little bit with what I was saying when people are getting too over aggressive, going for it at their own 35, and like you said, you're giving them an advantage by giving them a possession by not punting, or not a possession because you're giving them either way, you would punt it to them, but you're giving them a much shorter field, much easier chance to score. So it is awesome to see the flow of these decisions, and eventually it regresses to the mean. That's usually what happens.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm exactly. Yeah. So I want to move on to this Isaiah Likely point, this catch, which of course a lot of us were focused on, and a lot of people around the NFL. It's not just the Ravens and Steelers world. A lot of people were focused on this play around the NFL, and it was very controversial. So there was first you have to go through the timeline of this game because there were a bunch of controversial calls. In my opinion, the one I hated the most right off the bat was the Travis Jones unnecessary roughness. That made no sense to anyone right when it happened. Yeah. Even Tomlin's like, huh? He's looking. And Tomlin thought that Isaiah Likely didn't catch the ball. So, okay, anyway, we'll talk about that in a second. But first that, and then the NFL.
I don't believe he really thinks that.
Right, that's besides it. He has to say that, right? And but the NFL came out and admitted that the Travis Jones call was incorrect. Fine, good, which we all knew, right? They can't admit that the Isaiah Likely play was incorrect because they literally made it from the booth. But anyway, point being, Meisty, what was your thought when you saw the plays? Both one, Isaiah Likely, Rodgers. What were you thinking about it? Enough said.
If those who can't see what I was doing, I got the touchdown. Hands up. I mean,
we got
every time, and this goes to, the Steelers fans online being like, kept sending the screenshot of their tight end. I can't remember who it was.
James, yeah.
Jesse James.
Yep.
Yeah, they all send the screenshot of Jesse James where that was called incomplete or whatever that was called. I agree with them. Yes, that was a catch. Like, I don't know what a catch is. Every time in the NFL there's a controversy on what is a catch, they add a new rule, rule 17.8, section C, B3, dash 3A says that you also, to make a catch, need to do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, huh? Where does this come from? I mean, every time it's something new with them. Listen, if a guy can go, he catches the ball, and he toe taps, and he falls out of bounds, right? He didn't make a football move. Because why? Because he was out of bounds. So he had no time to make a football move. So if a toe tap can count as a touchdown, right? Well, that's a touchdown. And then it says, oh, he has to make a football move. Well, extending your arms is a football move. The same with Jesse James. That is a football move. If you can catch the ball 2 feet, move the ball, that is a touchdown. That is a catch. That one, I still think that the Ravens had other chances to score, and that was obviously a bummer of not to score. I'm more upset at in the same game, the Aaron Rodgers non-interception call, where they're like, well, he caught it with a knee down. He didn't even have he didn't have full possession. He did nothing, and they're like, yeah, that's a touchdown. I mean, that's a catch by Rodgers, and that really bothered me because it was the same game. It was the same situation. He never had possession. He never had the ball for too long, but his knee was down. So you're telling me that, if Isaiah Likely was on the ground but then dropped the ball, that would be like, what is the rule? When does the rule apply? Like, these rules make no sense. I don't think we'll ever, in the NFL history, we'll ever know what a catch is. Just we won't. I think that's kind of part of it. And I'm more for, first of all, the other bothered me also was calling the field was touchdown. So you really needed evidence to overturn that one. But I think that the NFL should just be like, listen, every NFL crew, every officiating crew is going to have a little bit different call for a catch. And that's fine. But don't come at me with, well, these are the things that are needed to make a catch. Because none of them make sense. So if it's just like, hey, the crew gets together, the guy upstairs watches the replay, he looks at the replay, he goes, looks like a catch, it's a catch. Now, I actually, I hear there's a saying that says, 50 drunk guys in a bar, or 50 drunk people in a bar think it's a catch. It's a catch. What if some random bar in Tennessee who was watching the Ravens-Steelers game, not one of them's a Ravens or Steelers fan, what did they think? Because it seems like they all probably thought it was a touchdown. And I do agree, these referees have too much on the line. They're looking to just call the bar. What are people saying at the bar? Get to them. It's a good saying, and it's somewhat true. It really, really bothered me on that whole game. And it wasn't just that game. It was a couple of games across the NFL this past week that just had bad. And then the NFL today, I think it was today, or yesterday, put out a statement be like, well, we don't talk to the officiating crews during the season or during the offseason.
Maybe you should. Then maybe you should.
But they don't say they have a talking period where they go over, they review what they did wrong, and they don't really have communication during the season. And that's I don't understand what that means. And I don't know. I mean, the 4-point swing of the unnecessary roughness was brutal too, because that's 4 points, and that was huge. That was a big swing in the game.
Yep. Exactly what you said, Meisty, about extending the ball. The rules literally say extending the ball is a football move, and he's extending the ball away as he's catching it because he doesn't want to pull it in because the cornerback's right on his hip. And if he pulls it inside into his body, make it easier for the cornerback to punch it out. So he's keeping it away from him and holding it out and extending it as he's making his 2.5 steps to extend the ball. And it's like you said, that they're sending you the Jesse James gif of him not being a catch. It's like, yeah, that sucks, and the Steelers got screwed, and that was against the Patriots. So that was that's the classic, Tom Brady getting the calls, and as we talk about, Mahomes getting the calls now, but that was Tom Brady's forte when that was happening. So you would think you'd be like, oh, that was like 8 years ago. Like, hopefully we would have learned what a catch is by now, and we would know how to officiate it correctly. And then there's just no change, and there's just still confusion the whole time, and it's like, it's insane. And the funniest part is that was going around was the ref who was the head ref, this was his first year. The head ref of the Ravens-Steelers game was the same referee who tripped and was backing up while Lamar was running away from the Niners in the Christmas game.
I heard
and then
that.
Lamar
Yeah.
for him. That that's very unfortunate. That sucks because the refs
Saying
are
he bets against Lamar a lot.
But this guy's accidentally tripping Lamar. So yeah, it's just ironic. It's just very funny that he happens to be the ref there. But the NFL literally admitted that the Travis Jones call was wrong, and you heard the audio in the moment. Harbaugh saying, "The one time I've seen him look
That was wrong.
slightly confident, where he goes, that was wrong. It's head and neck area, head and neck." I was like, oh, look at that. You know what you're
Harbaugh
talking
knows
about.
the rules very well. Happens to
He
be.
does know the rules. He's not sitting there like doing the classic Harbaugh face.
When you're a coach for 20 years, you better know the rules pretty well. You know what I'm saying?
I hope so, right? But yeah, they seemingly took 11 points off the board, a touchdown, and then gave the Steelers 4 points. So gave 11 points off the Ravens, and obviously we're not biased at all as Ravens fans, but but that was initially I was like, oh my gosh, are we about to get Jesse? I remember seeing it in the moment when the ball comes out. I was like, are we really about to say a football move in the end zone after he already caught the touchdown and has gotten 2 feet down and standing the ball away? Like, yeah, I couldn't believe it, especially because if they like Meisty said, again, gonna parrot what he said, they called the field on the ruling on the field, it was a touchdown. You need clear and obvious evidence to switch it, and that was clear and obvious enough to
I mean, and you see things that sometimes are, when we're watching it from the replay, we're like, well, that's pretty clear and obvious. And then they come back like, call stands, and you're like, because it wasn't clear and obvious. Like, we saw clear and obvious. So it really bothers me on that. And they didn't even really review it. I think if they went upstairs to review
That's what I was gonna say. The thing that bothered me the most about it, it was an abridged review. Like, really? Really? It was so obvious to you that you couldn't take more than 10 seconds to review it? To overturn that call on the field? Are you serious? Abridged review from upstairs.
Everybody wants the quick reviews, though. So it's like ironic because if they were taking their time, you would have been like, "Oh, it's clear and obvious. Why are they taking so long?" So
You want the quick and obvious, but sometimes you see it, you're like, that's clear and obvious. Get the call out. Let's go. Why are we taking so long? I agree with you. But sometimes you're like, a play like this, especially touchdowns, a scoring play.
Especially the magnitude of the play. There was 2.5 minutes left. It could have been the game-winning play.
Yeah. I mean, okay, and on a side note a little bit to the whole situation, I mean, something with Isaiah Likely, I mean, there's a reason why, the Ravens re-signed
diabetes.
Mark Andrews, because I mean there's really is something with Isaiah Likely and the Ravens. Something's not clicking. I mean, maybe they do bring him back next year, maybe they don't, but I've heard that there's rumors, something going on in the locker room with him. But just in general, I mean, it's back-to-back weeks where he made a crucial. I don't want to blame this on him. Obviously, I mean, we all think it was a touchdown, but he made another crucial error. I don't care if you have to bring the ball in, hold on to it tight, or really hang on to it. I'm not really sure what he needed to do. But
hold the ball for a half more second.
Some level of blame is placed upon him. You have to play some level of blame. Yeah.
The Bengals game, because his whole body was going to end up in the end zone. So you didn't have to extend it when you fumbled it. I hate when guys do that. Like, dude, you're going to be in the end zone. You're getting tackled into the end zone, and then you, extend the ball. I really bothered. I mean, Isaiah Likely's so good. He's got great hands. Besides for when he's caught, to catch the ball, great hands. Then all of a sudden, he's got fumbleitis that clicks in. It's brutal. Something's up with Isaiah Likely. I mean, I would love to see him even get more involved in the game. The Ravens didn't make a single play to any other receiver in the first half other than Zay Flowers for the most part. So I really would like to see more of him and other people as well. I mean, the Ravens have to just get more of their guys involved.
There's something with Isaiah Likely and being inches away from doing stuff. Like, you have the Chiefs, you have the play last week against the Bengals, then you have play this week against the Steelers. Like, everything he does, he's like right there, but doesn't do it. Like, he's like a second away from making the biggest play of the game, and then doesn't make the play.
Yep. Every time. Last thing I will say is, the second they took that off, like, I was like, there's no way we're scoring. Like, it was such a emotional high to take the lead like that, and I'm like, I've seen it so many times with this team that they don't feel like emotionally mature or like locked in to be able to steady that wave, steady that calm. As Josh Allen said in his presser, he was like, hey, we didn't ride the wave, we just stayed here, we stayed calm, level. And like, they're all clearly like, touchdown, awesome, or hype, or excited, and then they take it away from you on a very, very questionable call. And you still had 3 more chances to score and could have gotten a first down even. Like, they still could have gotten the first down. And I was like, yeah, they're just not like mentally strong enough to score. And then when they get the ball back with a chance to take the lead, and we talked about that that holding penalty on the punt.
Yep, I was about to say that.
It just felt like,
and then the first holding.
First down holding. All they do is move backwards.
Starting at the 40-yard line to starting at the 25-yard line, and then they just get it, and then got sacked on the last play of the game. Not that really made much.
But you know what? It was one of the most poorly executed 2-minute drills of the season. It was. Yeah. Despite them starting 20 yards back, it took them a minute before they even got a first down. They had to call the timeout on 4th and 2 with 50 seconds left. They had a minute 56 left. It was so bad. They got back to where they would have been without the holding with 30 seconds left in the game. It was so bad. I don't know what's going. Harbaugh blamed on himself. Nope, yep, my fault. And by the way, you know what else he blamed on himself? Yeah, the play after Likely where. By the way, they ran for 8 yards and made it 3rd and 2. It's not like this was out of the question. It was at the 5-yard line, 3rd and 2. And then they do this inside zone to Henry, and Alex Highsmith comes literally as unblocked as a player could possibly be in the NFL and takes Henry down for a 4-yard loss. I don't know what's happening. Pat Ricard is going inside. Like, I've watched the play a few times. Pat Ricard is supposed to block Highsmith, and he doesn't. And then Harbaugh says, and by the way, I'm the biggest Pat Ricard fan. You're not going to hear me insulting Pancake Pat anytime soon. I think he's the key to the run game, and personally, there's no coincidence that since Pat Ricard has come back, the Ravens' run game has come back. But yep. Pat Ricard, Rosengarten, someone screwed up on that play. Harbaugh, they asked Harbaugh about it. He said it wasn't any of the blockers' fault. Nobody knew their assignment. Their assignment wasn't communicated to them, and that's my fault. Well, how does that happen? How do you not know your assignment on 3rd and 2 in the most important play of the game until that point, and then you make 4th and 5? As we just looked, 4th and 5 is a less than 30% conversion rate. That's a much more difficult proposition than 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. So what? How do you miss these? Are crucial errors. I understand you got screwed, but you also can't make these errors at the end of the game, like the 2-minute drill and the 3rd and 2 missing blocks. Like, what's happening here? You got to make 1 or 2 of these plays and try to win some of these crucial games. This is why the Ravens are under 500 in December for the first time in like a decade.
Yep, very well.
I saw one of the chats written together. Someone pointed out that they have 0 replay on the broadcast. They didn't show it, and you didn't see it when it happened. But they have 0 of both holding calls. They have 0 replay of. And I'm like, that's so true. They never, usually a holding, they go and they show it. Even if it's a bad holding, at least you got to see what they were calling. Like, they didn't even show a replay. They had time to. They were showing something else down the field. Like, they were like, we're not even going to. It was like, as our good friend, who hopefully we can get him on the show, Morty Graham, says, if you don't think the NFL is rigged, just watch the Ravens-Steelers game. You know what I mean? I mean, it's bad. And I think John Harbaugh is just being overly aggressive, trying to save his job. I mean, we're hearing rumors that he's lost the locker room. We kind of figured that out already a long time ago. You just kind of hoped it wasn't true. But it seems like he's just completely lost trust of his players, and his players have lost trust in him. But again, Lamar Jackson, and John Harbaugh can take all the blame he wants. Lamar, when you're standing in there and you're like trying to get the call, you realize your guys don't know what they're doing. You got to turn to be like, time out.
Move a blocker.
You don't know what you're doing.
I agree. You have to move a blocker. Yeah, that's a quarterback. It is part of the quarterback's responsibility to move blockers up depending on the defense. It's true.
Yeah,
it's partially.
Players are so confused, and there's 4, 3, 2. You know what? Hey, I know that we need these timeouts, baby, because if we don't get it, we need them. But guess what? I need a play here. Timeout. If I score here, I don't need my timeouts. So, hey, or we get the first down. I don't really need them. Timeout. Let me figure this out right here. Yeah, if you still don't get it on the next play, one, that's an offensive problem. You call a timeout. You got to run the correct play here. Two, that's it. You know what? It's better than what the situation was. You ended up in a horrible situation. It just makes no sense. And they got the ball. I mean, the whole game was very bad for the Ravens, and hopefully this doesn't come back to bite them.
There's a whole other discussion about inside zone on from shotgun on third and short that I also don't love that play. I mean, listen, hindsight's 20/20, but you're handing the ball off 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage when you need 2 yards. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like a drop back run would have been better if you wanted to run it. You could have maybe gone play action. I didn't like the play call. I mean, there were a lot of bad play calls in this game. There were some good ones too. They likely got open on that play. That was actually a great play call. But like, there were a lot of sloppy stuff happening in this game.
The best play the Ravens have is the Lamar. The option where Lamar has the option to pull it back and run it himself, or even just get somebody behind the line and he could do a dump off if they come up too much to after him. Like, right, the exact play call that they ran was the stupidest play call. They have so many options, and that's the play call. It's like the Browns running with Judkins and taking guy who's been perfect inside in the red zone today. Let's take him out and put in Judkins. And it was just but I know Yehuda had one more point he wanted to make.
Oh, well, I was saying what you brought up about you got to call the timeout if your guys are not on the right page. Question is, would you kill Lamar more if he calls that timeout and then they don't end up getting the first down and the touchdown, and then you don't have that timeout for the 2-minute drill, or for if you go on defense?
Again, so, if you're calling timeout, you come to the sideline as an offense and you discuss the play. You got to run the perfect play now. Now you're telling me, well, hey, we couldn't get the first down because we stink. Hey, well, you know what? That's what it is. But by the way, still would have gotten, with 2 timeouts, still would have gotten the ball back.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, 2 timeouts and a 2-minute warning.
30 seconds less time, but you would have gotten the ball back at the 2 from the they would have had the they would have gotten a punt, and without the penalties, you're starting at the 50-yard line, 40-yard line.
Yeah.
You still have time to drive down the field. You still have, even if it's 45 seconds, even if it's less than that, you still have time to make plays.
You would have had 2 minutes. You would have had 2 minutes because they had 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. They started that drive with 1 timeout. They started the 2-minute drive with 1 timeout.
I know.
But at least
they change how the Steelers run the third down play. If they know that the Ravens are out of timeouts, then they run the ball, and they don't pass it on third down.
Then you have 1:15 left instead of 2 minutes. Yeah, true.
Let's say a minute and a half, a minute 20. Right? The Ravens get the ball back a minute and a half, a minute 20 at worst. Right? They get the 3 and out, all 3 run plays. They run the clock as much as possible, punt it away. You get a minute 20, a little bit more, maybe a little less.
Meisty, if you're gonna call the timeout there, you better make sure you convert it. Pretty much.
But yeah, exactly. You better
that's what I said before. You got to make sure you get that play. Again, Yehuda was asking what happens if you don't get that play. Yeah, we're sitting there being like, come on, you wasted a timeout. But you still get the ball back.
I don't know how it works. Like, I do see quarterbacks moving blockers around all the time or adding an extra blocker. Like, he tells his running back, come out of the backfield and go on the line of scrimmage. So, like, I don't know if Lamar has to look at Ricard there and say, hey, go to the corner, like, cover Highsmith. Maybe it's part of his responsibility. Harbaugh took the blame himself. I don't know exactly what happened, what the responsibility of the players on the field is in that situation. Because the blockers get in their assignments and they go. They're not looking around. They're not, what I'm saying? The linemen are not quarterbacks. They're not like, go, there's another guy, another edge rusher, go, there's another safety, he's going to blitz. That's the quarterback's responsibility, to see who's blitzing, who's staying back, who's at the line. Like, that's why you see quarterbacks before they're looking around. They have to see what's happening. So, whatever. It was ugly. It was very ugly.
Very.
I agree with you, Meisty, though, that you should call a timeout if you don't feel like everyone's ready. I mean, maybe he did, but I would put all your eggs into one basket, put the chips in, try to win it right there on offense. And, you could get a stop back, and it would be much harder, minute 15 or a minute 40, no timeouts left. But you play for the touchdown right there. You're close. Yeah, you go for it, and you make sure you're all on the same page for the most important plays of the game. So I would have agreed with that, or I agree. You should have called timeout if you felt like you needed it there.
All right, let's move on to week 15. Looking ahead, we'll circle back to the Ravens at the end, but we're going to talk Ravens Bengals a little bit. But let's talk about there's some big games in the NFL this week with high playoff leverage. I don't know. Did I send you this guy's article? I'll send it to you while we're talking about this. But anyway,
Send it.
so okay, as it stands right now, no team has clinched the playoffs yet. That will probably change after this week for multiple reasons. The Broncos, Patriots, Jaguars don't yet have a chance to clinch this week, but the Broncos and the Patriots and the Rams are the three teams that'll clinch.
Beat the Packers like that? Rocky's going out? He's calling it?
No, if they win. If they win.
I
The
know.
Broncos, Patriots, and Rams are the three teams that will clinch with a win. That's what I'm saying. They right now have a 99% chance to make the playoffs. If they lose, then if they lose, it goes down to 99%. So 98.9%. So okay, but so that's not really the interesting thing here, right? Let's start with this game in Kansas City, where the Chiefs. We talked about earlier in the show. We talked about the Chiefs who almost lost their opportunity to make the playoffs. Let me send you this. Yeah. Anyway, so if they win, currently the Chiefs have a 10% chance to make the playoffs, and that's of course because they don't have it. They're 6-7. They don't have the tiebreaker to the Texans. They don't have the tiebreaker to the Bills. Currently, don't have the tiebreaker to the Chargers. But even if they do, they're 3 games behind the Chargers. So anyway, and they're playing the Chargers this week, right? If they win, they go up to 16%. If they lose, it's less than 1. It's interesting. They're not officially eliminated if they lose this game. Maybe if the Texans win. Maybe if they lose and Texans win. I don't actually know that scenario, really. But anyway, whatever semblance of a chance that the Chiefs have, they have to win this week. And I said before, by the way, I was telling guys on the chat before the Chargers-Eagles game that if the Chargers lose this game, the Chiefs still have a shot via the Chargers, right? Because Old Man Rivers coming off the bench. We'll talk about him soon. Old Man Rivers coming for the Colts, 44 years old. They could lose 3 of the next 4 games considering their schedule. The Chargers got a really tough schedule, gauntlet of a schedule down the stretch here. So if they would have only been 2 games ahead of the Chiefs, Chiefs win to pull within 1, Chiefs win out, which they have the Raiders and Titans in between those Broncos games, like that's doable. And then you have the Chargers have all these tough games. They can lose another game out of those 3. And then you could potentially get it. With the Chargers losing and going 3 games back, even if you win to get 2 games back, you need the Chargers to lose 2 other games. It's possible, but it's unlikely. So anyway, Chiefs, Chargers. What are the Chiefs?
Rocky, look at your WhatsApp.
My WhatsApp. Okay. Chiefs, Chargers. What do you think, Meisty?
We're looking for the article that you're reading, just to have it all up in front of us. But
yeah. Let me pull it up. I'll send it to you. Wait, so Chiefs, Chargers.
Yeah, so Chiefs, Chargers. So I mean, again, like we said, and you said it perfectly. I mean, the Chiefs lose, they're done. I think that they don't have right. I think once they lose, that's officially the elimination. I mean, I think American football fans outside of Kansas City Chiefs fans that's kind of our own personal Super Bowl, whether your team's doing good or not. You know, just to see the fall of Patrick Mahomes and not the dynasty, but the era of this dynasty. You know, we all saw it with Tom Brady's dynasty. It just kind of started again a couple years after he. I mean, I don't even know if he missed the playoffs, but he wasn't winning Super Bowls, and then he kind of just picked right back up, and he started winning again. And that's fine. We'll worry about that when we get there with this Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. But I think right now, I think that America just is. I think most of America are Chargers fans this week and would love to see the Chargers win, which I think they do win, and I think that will be the official end of the dynasty era that we're in. It's going to be very exciting, and I mean, it's not going to be easy. I don't think it's going to be easy. The Chiefs are in playoff mode, and the Chargers are, coming off a big win, and quarterback's injured, and I mean, we'll see. Yeah, short week, and I mean, we'll see. I don't believe in short weeks when it's really like this, because I mean, it's one day.
They know each other.
Yeah, they know each other well, and it's in Kansas City. I'm sure weather is going to be frustrating, and it's not going to be easy on. They're going to look to take on Justin Herbert's hand, and the Chiefs are really they're here to play. I mean, they're here to play. They're here, and I think this is probably I don't know what time this game is, but it's probably it's a 1 o'clock.
It's 1
Yeah,
o'clock.
CBS is not letting that one go.
Romo and Nance on the call, probably, right?
Listen, I know the Ravens are going to be playing, but I will definitely be tuned into that game. I mean, the Ravens game is obviously my main focus, but that if I had multiple screens, I would definitely be watching the Chiefs and I do have multiple screens. The Chiefs and the Chiefs and the Chargers battle it out.
So Bills Patriots also at that time, but yeah, it's the Chiefs.
Bills by 50.
Ironically, I know I keep talking about DVOA. They're still top 6 in DVOA, so like they're not dead yet, and they have all these good underlying metrics, but they keep just making these big mistakes in the little moments. In all the games they went 11-0 last year in one-score games, and then they're just not winning any of those one-score games. As we discussed earlier, the regression to the mean, everything just averages out, and like that was ridiculous luck. I mean, it's good. It's good. Like, you know how to win, and it's good football team, good coaching when you're winning that many close games, but it's also not sustainable. And so even though the Chiefs have like some good underlying data, they now have a bunch of O-line injuries. Their left tackle, who's already a backup, is out for the year, Wanya Morris. So they're on a third-string left tackle.
By the way, this new guy, this backup guy, he played pretty good.
He did, but he's still a backup.
Played well against the Texans last week, which surprisingly, because that's the best pass rush in the league.
That is very impressive. But even the blind dog finds a bone once in a while. But no, I'm kidding. He could be very good. And it was impressive to see that. But they were booting Mahomes out and like throwing quick passes and stuff. So it can take away from their deep passing game because they don't have time. They don't trust the line to do that. And the Chargers have a good defense. So yeah, again, like Meisty said, we're all besides for Kansas City, we're all Chargers fans this week. And that game that the Chargers won against the Eagles was huge to make this super do or die, because like it would give. I mean, the Chiefs still basically have no wiggle room, but you could have had a little bit more wiggle room if the Chargers had lost, and then the Chiefs are only 2 games back. But now that the Chargers won, this is pretty much it for their season, which is a little frustrating because I wanted the Christmas game, the Broncos-Chiefs game, to mean a lot.
To be a big leverage. Yeah, I agree.
I wanted that to be.
The Chiefs win today. If the Chiefs win this week, I mean, we're looking at that Christmas game meaning a lot.
Still be intriguing. Still be somewhat intriguing for sure.
Legitimately think they're gonna beat the Chargers though. Like
no. Even if they do beat the Chargers, their season's over. Realistically. They're mathematically still alive, but they're done.
Rocky, the Chiefs, and I just love looking at schedules and upcoming schedules that are upcoming. But if you look at the Chiefs real quick, I mean, not that, and obviously they need a lot of help to get in, but beating the Chargers would be major for them.
Titans, Raiders.
Titans and Raiders.
Then they get the you said the Raiders the next week.
No, Titans.
No, they get the Titans. Then they're correct. Then they get the Raiders.
Then the Broncos and the Raiders.
So I'm saying, sorry, correct, like you're saying, that Christmas game, the Broncos. But that Broncos game could mean, like, if they go out and they win this week, they most likely win next week. Then they go out and they get the Broncos the following week. That game is going to mean everything to them because going into Week 18, they play the Raiders, and yes, they still need a whole bunch of help to help them get in. But that is what they need to get done. They need to sweep everyone. So that game will matter if they win this week.
So, ironically, I'm not rooting for the Chiefs, obviously, but it would be more interesting if they beat the Chargers because then they're going to beat the Titans, and then the Broncos could eliminate them in Kansas City on Christmas. That would be
much better than being buried in the 1 o'clock window, right? It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
But to your point, Yehuda, the Chiefs are also 5th in EPA per play, so some of the underlying metrics are in their favor. Anyway, Yehuda, 4.5 in favor of the Chiefs. Where are you going with this one?
I am still taking the Chiefs. As much as we're talking about Chargers fan this week and all the mistakes they made, I still think Andy Reid can get him up for the heart of a champion right now. Mahomes I think literally the worst game of his career, or one of the worst games of his career just last week against the Texans. And he's like, I can't go out like this. And they all think we're done. Nick Wright thinks they're done. He did the bit with Brew.
That was funny. That was funny.
The ultimate Chiefs homer is kind of calling it already. So I think they're playing at home. I mean, obviously, SoFi is not really like a huge home field advantage, but being in Kansas City, they're like, our season's not ending to the freaking San Diego Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers, the corporate Chargers. Our season's not ending when their quarterback has a broken hand. It's not ending here. So I do think the Chiefs are going to win. But I looking ahead, we'll talk about it. But I'm just hoping they get eliminated on Christmas. That would be the ultimate Christmas gift for all of us. A crash.
I agree that the Chiefs probably win this game. I mean, there's something that we did touch on. The Chargers their offense at least did not play well on Monday Night Football. The Eagles' offense just played even worse, and they had just more mistakes, and they ended up in overtime winning the game on just a stupid play. But again,
he was open. Like, I
mean,
it was a great play by Hart, like incredible recognition to jump back, but that guy was open. If he could get it over at corner, he was open at the one, and they probably end up.
You know what? There's two defenders there. If you're putting the ball into two defenders, it better be the A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and no one. I don't know who that Jahan is. It don't matter who it is. You don't throw it there, even if he's open. There's two defenders there. Again, obviously bad throw, and it wasn't good. But the Chiefs, if the Chargers come into this week and they make even a third of the mistake, I mean, if they make mistakes like they made against the Eagles, the Chiefs will pounce on those and they will build off those. And I unfortunately, like I said, I'm rooting for the Chargers, but I unfortunately think the Chiefs blow them out here this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with everyone here. The Chiefs by 4.5. I'm gonna take the points. Honestly, last week was the game that I thought, this is gonna be the Eagles-Chargers game. I'm like, the Chargers have, 4/5 of their offensive line are injured. And the Eagles are going to wreck them up front, which they did. I mean, Justin Herbert was running for his life the entire game, although the run game did have success, surprisingly. But the pass blocking was not particularly good in that game. And, Mahomes with his 4.8 yards per attempt, which is worst of the season, maybe worst of his career. I didn't look that up, but it's worst of the season. But I would imagine, he'll get a couple more possessions in this game. Not playing against that vaunted Texans defense. Chargers have a good defense, but again, I think the Texans front four will have success against the Chargers' backup offensive line, literally, and I think the Chargers will cover the points as well. Let's move on. Patriots.
The Chiefs front. The
Chiefs front four will have success against the Chargers' offensive line. That's right. But so we have the Bills Patriots, a massive game. Massive game. Huge. Over here in the AFC East. And this, I mean, guys, if I would be telling you that we'd be sitting here in Week 15 and the New England Patriots could clinch the division, basically clinch the division, right? Not basically. They're 2 games up, right? They're 2 games up. There'll be 3 games left. They'd have a tiebreaker. So if they win this game, they clinch the division. In Week 15, you would think I would be absolutely crazy. However, that is the scenario we find ourselves in. Meisty, you hear us? Bills Patriots.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Massive game. What are you thinking about this game here?
Yeah, I mean, the Bills have to win this one. They have to get their revenge. I know the people of Denver, Colorado are out there rooting hard because this pretty much gives them a huge advantage. If the Bills can win this game, they don't, they have an easier schedule after the Packers. But Patriots coming off a bye. It's interesting to find out really what they can do. This is a big week for them. But I do think that this game isn't so big because I think the Bills still find their way into the playoffs. And I think that. Where am I at here? Yeah, I think the Bills still find their way into the playoffs. So both teams are kind of they have this in the back pocket that, hey, we're going to go to the playoffs one way or another. I really don't see the Colts or anyone else making sort of an impact. Houston's already in the playoffs as of now. So I really don't see how. I think it's just more of a seeding thing. So I think that but I do think that the Bills come out here and they do what the Bills have to do. I think this is, we're going to see some of the best of Josh Allen. He's locked in this week for sure.
Well, I agree with what you're saying that realistically it doesn't mean that much because Patriots are probably winning the division just because they got such a big lead right now. It's like symbolically it's a big deal, Like the Bills won the division 5 straight years. They were dominating. Maybe it was either 5 or 6 straight years. They're dominating post Brady era Patriots. They're dominating the league. They're the new Patriots. And then all of a sudden in 1 year, right, because we give Drake May his rookie year, didn't expect much. In 1 year, all of a sudden the Patriots are back, and now they're winning the division. Obviously, we have no idea what's going to happen in the future, but all of a sudden the Patriots are back, and the Bills' reign is quote unquote over. Like, it's shocking. Like Buffalo's like, not again. Like the Bills we've been trying for 20 years. We never won the division, and then finally we got our guy Josh Allen. And we're winning divisions. We're going to AFC championships, but we just can't quite get over the hump. But then all of a sudden the Patriots are back, and the Bills haven't accomplished any Super Bowl wins. Like symbolically, to me, it feels like a scary moment for the Buffalo franchise. Are we ever going to get it done? Especially if the Patriots win and officially clinch division. I do think, Thomas, Edward, Nathaniel, Patrick. I do think the Bills are going to win because false hope is a strong motivator, and you'd be like, oh, we still have a chance at the division. We win out, and the Patriots can lose the game, whatever. But also more for revenge. The Bills got beat in their own house. They want to beat the Patriots in their home turf. So they will be motivated to do it. Ultimately, though, I do believe the Patriots are winning this division. The symbolism though of the Patriots overtaking this division, I think maybe a little bit too much for the Bills. Like they understand that they're not letting this happen just yet. Like they're going to try to delay the inevitable, so they're going to try to win to feel like they still got a chance at the division. But that being said, the Patriots are coming off a bye, my coach, and I don't think Sean McDermott is that good of a coach. And the Bills' run defense is still very questionable. You can run on them, and Travion Henderson is a solid rookie running back. Ramondre, fumbling issues aside, he's solid, he's fine. But they can get a good running game going, and like the Bills' defense is it's not very scary. And McDermott being a defensive guy, you would think they would be better. The Patriots can run the ball on them, and like Meisty, like you said, I wish it doesn't mean that much, but I wish the Patriots were like 10-3, so that it meant a little bit more, and it was because then it would be even more intense. But I do think there is a path for sure for the Patriots to win, but I am going to be picking the Bills to win this game.
Wait, Rocky, before you even go, is it normal that no team has clinched the playoffs at this point of the season? Is it usually that it takes? I mean, obviously a couple teams can get in this week, but is that normal? I'm trying to remember
after
past
week 15.
years.
Normally week 15 is generally the first week you'll have 1, maybe 2 teams. I don't think it's crazy.
My bold prediction is that the Patriots lose out and miss the playoffs. Anyway, continue to ignore what I say.
So you guys saying this is not a massive game is a big oversight on your part, on both your parts. This is an enormous game. The Patriots, first of all, have the number 1 seed on the line in this game, right?
It's true.
Their remaining schedule is the Bills and the Ravens, and then the Jets and the Dolphins. Like, if they can get through this game, they have a clear path into the number 1 seed. If they don't get through this game, it doesn't become so simple. The Dolphins are more competitive. The Ravens are still going to be a tough beat. So, like, it's not that simple. On the other hand, if you're the Bills and you win out, including this game, and you get the Patriots to lose one of the other division games, and you might have a tiebreaker there, The Broncos have the Packers, Jaguars, Chiefs, and Chargers. They can easily go 2-2 in those 2 games. So, like, we're talking about a situation where the Bills winning out, which they're the Bills, they still have Josh Allen. Like, that this is step 1 to them potentially getting that number 1 seed. It's still in play for them, albeit not great. The chances for the number 1 seed right now are 6%. Not great. The chances for the Patriots are 39. The Broncos have the number 1 chances at 42. Probably just because I think they probably have the tiebreaker with the Patriots. That's probably why. But schedule-wise, the Patriots have a more favorable schedule. This is a huge game. It's a huge game. This can have tremendous implications for the number 1 seed and home field advantage in the AFC. So I think this is a massive game. And the Bills, again, the Bills lose this game, their number 1 seed chances are over, and they'll probably play the Steelers in the wildcard round, which is not the worst thing ever for them, but...
Ravens are winning division. The Bills are coming into Baltimore, and we're going to beat them.
By the way, that would be an epic wild card matchup. Ravens, Bills, everything the NFL wanted. If the NFL is really fixed, if the NFL is really rigged, okay, then the Ravens have to beat the Bengals this week, right? And then the Ravens have to beat the Steelers in Week 18 so that you could set up, right? Because obviously if the Ravens beat the Bengals, then you set up the Week 18, last game of the season, Ravens-Steelers Sunday night. Who doesn't want that, right? We've never had a Ravens-Steelers win or go home last week of the season game, right? We've had some of the last weeks, but we've never had that. Yeah. And then you have Ravens-Bills wild card weekend, put it Sunday night with Collinsworth and Tirico. Of course, that's, if the NFL is rigged, then that's got to happen.
Come back to this podcast in 4 weeks when everything that Rocky said just happened.
That's what they want.
The tiebreaker between Broncos and Patriots would come down to the Patriots losing in week 2 or week 1
to the Raiders.
To the
Raiders. So that's an interesting one because if somehow the Broncos playing the Raiders still? No, they don't have any games against the Raiders. No, that's true. That would be the common game, right? The common game tiebreaker. Anyway, Meisty, where are you going? We have the Bills favored by 1 on the road.
I like the Bills here. I mean, I do think that the Patriots probably beat them, but I'm rooting for the Bills, so I'm gonna go with the Bills here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Bills as well, just because getting swept doesn't seem likely at this point in the season, and I do think Josh Allen, he showed last week, he can play Superman ball. Really, when he needs to drop back. Oh my gosh, some of those plays he made against the Bengals on 4th down, like extending that play and those tight windows to Dawson Knox. Also, by the way, I think Dalton Kincaid makes a tremendous difference to this offense. They don't have a lot of playmakers, but when Kincaid's out there, it's a whole different offense in my opinion. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Patriots as well. So I'm going with the Bills, and yeah.
Yeah. Wait, you're going with the Patriots?
I'm going with the Bills.
Oh, okay. So we're all picking Bills. I think, I agree hypothetically with all what we're saying, but Josh Allen superhero mode. Yeah, I get it, and it's not a sustainable thing to do that and to expect him to rely on that, but you can do that against worse teams like the Bengals, right? And the Bengals, the Broncos, the Bills defense did make plays. They got back-to-back picks, one being a pick 6.
He's done it against the Chiefs several times in his career.
I know, I understand, but the Patriots are a much better coached team than the Bengals, and I watched him get the crap beat out of him by the Texans, and obviously that's a whole different discussion.
That's the Texans.
Yeah, it's the best defense in the NFL. I understand all that. But this is in New England, and off a bye with a solid, very well-coached team with a huge win streak going. I do think, though, ironically, they're going to lose. The Bills are going to win. The Patriots are going to lose just because it's insane to have a 10 or 11 game win. So it's got to end at this point. But all this to say, I can see a path for the Patriots winning.
No, I agree. I can see a path, but if you're predicting the game, I think we're going to go with the Bills by 1. It's essentially Vegas saying it's a toss-up on the road, which is interesting. Next game is the team with probably the biggest. Everyone's going to be watching this game if things fall into place, and that is, of course, the Colts traveling to Seattle to play the Seattle Seahawks. Do you guys want to guess what the line is for this game?
14.5.
What do you got?
I'm not going to guess because that would be disingenuous because I have it in front of me.
It's 13.5. Meisty, you looked already.
Yeah, you totally looked.
You did it?
No.
That was impressive. I was shocked. This is the biggest line of the week. The Colts had the best record in the NFL 3 weeks ago, and they're 13.5-point underdogs. This is absolutely crazy. Now my question is, is Vegas assuming that Rivers will play, or we're assuming Riley Leonard will play? Because I don't know which one hurts your chances more. That's the problem.
I don't think it makes much of a difference. I think you can make this line 17, 18, 19 and a half. Seattle's defense is so good. Their offense knows how to drive the ball. They have the best receiver in the league. They have two running backs who are better than most running backs in the league. I mean, they are efficient. They have probably one of the better head coaches, someone who's fired up and has a point to prove to the NFL that he belongs as a head coach. I just want to interlude real quick. I don't know if that's even the right word. I just want to say that word. But I finally built on the playoff machine how the Patriots missed the playoffs, so I want that to be known. Yeah, but I don't think so, because the only way is that the Colts win out, and the Colts definitely ain't winning out. So, so that's what I'm holding now. But as I was saying, I don't think. I think Seattle absolutely crushes the Colts here, and I think the Colts are. I don't know if the Colts are giving up on the season. I'm not sure what they're doing. It's just not something that I just don't think that it's something that's I don't know what. I really wish I could tell you what the Colts are up to. Really makes no sense. I mean, there's Tyler Heineke. I mean, Colin Kaepernick's out there. I mean, there are guys out there. There are guys out there who are much better options than, in my opinion, Philip Rivers. And I want to say he's the oldest. I mean, definitely a grandfather. Definitely one top 3 oldest players. Hasn't played. I did hear a good point though, and Rocky, I think you're gonna like this point here. I think Philip Rivers' agent and Philip Rivers himself are doing this for one reason and one reason only. Because his retiring class, so his Hall of Fame class, would have been with Drew Brees and Eli Manning. And he wants to make sure that he is sitting somewhere pretty. So he retires this year. No big names as of now. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is kind of the only big name that is probably going to retire at the end of the year here. But even Aaron Rodgers might just try it again, and that is, I wouldn't even be shocked if Aaron Rodgers
Isn't
tried
it
it
interesting that his whole Hall of Fame thing resets just because he plays a game or two? Who knows?
I mean, it makes sense because you're ineligible to return once you qualify for the Hall of Fame. You're ineligible to play. You know, so it does make sense in a way where hey. You can go to the Hall of Fame now. You cannot play. I think that also means if you're qualified for the Hall of Fame, obviously that means you played a long career or most of your career. Hey, dude, you're old. So, hey, back out, you know. But I think it's very interesting what Philip Rivers is doing. I mean, he's just. It makes no sense to me what the Colts are doing. I was rooting for them. I mean, they were overperforming for sure earlier in the year. For sure, it was like the biggest case of frauds out there when they were competing for the 1 seed, but this is not.
Yehuda, me and Meisty were talking about this before the podcast. Perhaps you can help us out. Is he the first Zadie to ever step field in an NFL field if he plays?
There was a guy named George Blanda who played back in the 70s in his 50s. So I'm not exactly sure about his kid situation, but he was playing football as a kicker and a quarterback. He played in 4 decades. That was his thing because he started in the 1949. He played in the 40s, 50s,
cool.
60s, and 70s. So I don't know his family situation. He's a Hall of Famer, but looking at his personal life,
if he was a grandfather already by play, I don't know how many. I mean, I'm sure some of these guys have kids when they're 19, 20 years old. Some of them. So it could be we had it before, but
he got married in his rookie year. He was married, and they had 2 kids. So he could have been an Altazadi.
That's unbelievable. The white hairs have to be coming in for Philip Rivers.
Yeah, this is pretty wild. I cannot believe that this is real in the big 2025. I think it's just like a crazy panic move. I don't get it. I don't understand. But he is still just on the practice squad. I think Riley Leonard practiced in full today, even though he had an injury.
How disappointing would it be if he didn't play, though? How disappointing would it be for all of us?
It would be very sad. I would love to watch him play and see if he could do it. I don't think there's any way he could, but it would be awesome.
We're talking about 5 years of retirement. 5-year gap. Like it's not like he just played last year and like Brett Favre. No, we're talking about a 5-year gap. That's insane.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, Riley Leonard, full practice with a knee injury. I think he's going to play, but you never know. The Seattle defense will beat the crap out of you. So if he, God forbid, gets injured again, is Phillip Rivers coming in as the backup, or is Phillip Rivers coming in next week?
Man Rivers.
Unfortunately, though, I do think their team is cooked now, and like I don't think. I mean, obviously, it was. Meisty said it was they're the biggest fraud team. It was unexpected, I would say. Like nobody expected this, especially we were like to get Anthony Richardson to we thought the project Anthony Richardson was always going to be a project, and then to give up on him basically within a year and a half, 2 years for Daniel Jones. We were all clowning them at the beginning of the season. Then they played awesome. So we were like, what was your plan? And then right when they tried to go for it, they were like, okay, we'll have Daniel Jones as our long-term guy. Let's trade 2 firsts for Sauce Gardner and really go for it this year.
And they get Quinn Williams.
It all fell apart. And it's just like, it's brutal. But yeah, to call them frauds, I think it was just like based on our expectations, we didn't expect them, but they were like top 5 in like offensive efficiency and everything, and their defense was solid, and they were really good. Jonathan Taylor was really carrying the team. They were a legitimate team. They were really good, but the wheels start to fall off, and they the Dennis Miller, I forget the coach, but they are who we thought they were. They take some injuries.
Yeah,
they're like a fine team. They're definitely over. But
I agree with you, but I agree with you, Yehuda. I don't agree with you, Meisty, that they were. Meaning, I think there were like similarities between the Colts and the Jaguars 2 years ago. Started 8-3, right, and then lost his last 6 games. You kind of saw a collapse coming. That was more based on Daniel Jones than anything. I don't think Daniel Jones was the engine behind the offense. Like Alec Pierce had one 40-yard play every game. He just seemed to have one big play every game. Pittman is a legit playmaker, a contested catch playmaker. Tyler Warren became like one of the best tight ends in football. Jonathan Taylor is a playmaker. Like this, they have a lot of playmakers on the offense. This is not a slouch of a team, even without a great quarterback. Like they're not going to be a pushover, and the defense played well for the most better part of the season. So even though Daniel Jones wasn't necessarily the engine behind it, and he was kind of surprising, and he played pretty well, like they have playmakers. They can do damage, and which is why I'm so surprised about a 13.5 point. I understand to give them 6 or 7 points, but 13.5 points. The Seahawks are great, but like Darnold also hasn't been playing well in 3 weeks.
And Jonathan Taylor has not been playing well lately, and also. So I want to say I just the Colts are out of it. Let's just put it this way: most likely, with the schedule at hand and everything at hand, the Colts are out. They're done.
So with a win, they go to 51%. With a loss, they go to 18%. It's a big leverage game for them.
They're not winning. Let's just put it.
What'd you say? Yeah.
If they win, they go to 51%. So they're a coin flip. If they win. If they lose, they go to 18%. It's a huge game for them.
But they still, I think they still play the Texans and the Jaguars and the Texans again. I don't know why I don't have the NFL schedule pulled up. But the whole thing is
Niners, Seahawks, Niners, Jaguars, Texans.
The Texans game is huge.
That's a gauntlet.
But the Texans game is the game they need to win because that's the tiebreaker game. That's right. That's the team they're competing with.
Texans, look, for example, the Texans this week. We say this, but the Texans this week play. The Texans this week will play the Cardinals. They will play in week 16.
They have the Chargers. They have the Chargers. They have the
Chargers. So the Chargers game, and if they win those 3, I don't know that the Colts game makes that much of a difference if the Colts aren't winning games either. And I don't really see the Colts winning games. So. I really don't like the Colts here. I think they're saying that. So my question is here, okay, is Daniel Jones is probably not their answer next year. They're probably looking to go, right? They only signed 1 year, or is it a multi-year?
I'll look it up.
Okay, so
it's also
and he might not even, he with a torn Achilles, he might not play next year. So where are the Colts going? What are they? 1 year. So next year they need a quarterback. Daniel Jones might be out for the whole season next year with this type of injury. I mean, or at least most of it. We'll see once the surgery and once the recovery starts.
The Texans have the tiebreaker, by the way. That's the problem.
So yeah,
Kyler Murray.
that's what I'm saying. So like, are you going to go to Kyler Murray? I mean, is that the answer? No, right? I mean, he's been. If a Call of Duty comes out, he's out for the year. So you end up in a situation where you're looking at it like, hey, what are we doing? Because and maybe they go get Rodgers. Maybe they go bring back Joe Flacco to back home. I mean, there's a lot of options. Don't get me wrong, but I don't see the Colts going back to Daniel Jones. And even if they do sign him, he's injured. So you need a new quarterback to start the season next year. I think that maybe they go and get
Russell Wilson.
No, I think maybe they go get what's his name from Cleveland.
Someone threw around a couple interesting names today. Will Levis, Reclamation Project number 2. They already did it with Daniel Jones.
True.
Why not? Give the tall guy a chance.
Yeah, true.
That one I didn't think about.
Deshaun Watson, maybe they go get Deshaun Watson. He'll be a free agent next year.
No, what do you mean?
No.
What do you mean? The Browns are starting him next year. You didn't hear?
Yeah, they're not starting here next year. Shadussi is getting the start, I think, to start the year next year. I would be shocked if anyone else touches that ball for the Cleveland.
Shador's getting the back. Shador's playing for the backup spot right now. Shador's not.
No, he's not. I don't. If you think Deshaun Watson is going to play,
No. Deshaun Watson's not starting, but neither is Shador Sanders.
Dylan Gabriel stuck. So unless they bring in,
not him either. They're going to draft someone. There's a reason they're tanking this year.
There's no one to draft. Berger had a horrible year. They should tank. What they're going to do is they're going to tank again, and then next year they could go and get the 7 quarterbacks that are coming into the league, like Mendoza or something. And
how many times can the Browns tank? How many Browns tanks?
The Browns have been tanking for 20 years.
Every year the tank. Every year. Next year we'll get the quarterback of the future. Every year it's like we'll sacrifice this year. We'll put old man Flacco to start the season. Dylan Gabriel, draft 2 guys in the 3rd and 5th round. But who cares? Because we'll tank for next year. But next year's gonna be the same thing.
Yeah, so back to the Colts. I really don't know what the Colts. I love how we just trash talk the Browns at any possible chance.
I love my fellow Clevelanders. I really do. No. In all sincerity, I really feel bad for them. Like, they are a cursed franchise. No matter who they draft, it doesn't work well, and nothing works well. I mean, they have one of the best defenses in football, and they have 3 wins. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I really don't know what the Colts' direction is. I think that they are obviously hoping that they found the answer with Daniel Jones and that he was going to be kind of like Sam Darnold was for the Vikings last year, where their team was doing well and he just kind of was running the engine and being captain of the ship. But really here, I mean, there's not going to be Daniel Jones to start the season. Maybe they call Tom Brady. Did he make the Hall of Fame yet? I don't know. But, I mean... Brett Favre is available to play. He's always an option.
What is he, 60? Yeah, that's not so bad. Throw him out there.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's got to be an answer to the Colts because they have the team. The team is there. Like you said, Pittman's a playmaker. Alec Pierce is a playmaker. They did get Sauce Gardner. So there's definitely options. I mean, the Colts are one of those teams. They really have what it takes. They fell apart and. I mean, their quarterback broke his leg against the Chiefs a couple weeks ago, and obviously last week he tore his Achilles. But, I mean, it all went downhill once he broke his leg. So I really don't know what's going to happen here. I don't think they have a chance to win this game. I think the Seahawks are looking.
Covered? 13.5 covered?
I don't even think they cover. I think it's all Sam Darnold here that's looking to do his thing.
No, you're saying the Seahawks cover at 13.5.
They might cover 30.5. I don't know. They might shut him out. You're talking about Phillip Rivers. The only people he's been throwing a ball to is his 1-year-old grandson.
No, what do you mean? He has an NFL prospect son.
Yeah, and a 17.
Quarterback.
Come on.
Quarterbacks can't catch. What are you, racist against quarterbacks?
Here's one thing. One thing I will say, with the Rivers story obviously being huge, and that's what's distracting the Colts. I do think the Seahawks are winning, but it's a slight trap game because it is an AFC opponent, no real rivalry ties or whatever. And next week, on a short week, playing the Rams at home for the Seahawks. The Colts are not like a look ahead game, but now that they lost their quarterback, you would say, okay, maybe they're looking at them a little bit. So maybe they don't cover the 13.5 because of that. They struggle a little bit out of the gate. Maybe they only win by 10 or 11 because of that. But that is the one thing I would say is concerning. They have the Rams on a short week on Thursday in what is the game of the year when they previously lost. Obviously, we know the previous matchup on the short game-winning field goal attempt. And now it's in Seattle, and they obviously want to get their revenge, and it's for the 1 seed and all that. So that is the one thing that would concern me with taking the 13, because they might be looking ahead a little bit.
13.5 is a massive line. It's a massive line.
I was on a podcast today with who's the Texans head coach, DeMarco Ryan,
D'Amico Ryan.
Nico Ryan, whatever his name is. He actually said it best because they asked him about overlooking opponents and stuff like that, and he was like, if you're a good coach, it doesn't have to be a good coach. If you're any coach, there's no such thing as overlooking your next opponent. Especially, he goes, in basketball, it's possible because you play every night. You play, your guys are a little tired. He goes, dude, this is the NFL. We got 17 games. We got 17 games. We're all we ain't prepping for the team that we're playing to. We're looking at the game we're playing right now, this Sunday, this weekend. Who are we playing? That's our focus. Nobody in the locker room is like, well, we got this team the next week after, so we really have to like people are like saying that about the Rams and the Panthers. No, the Panthers just got, I don't want to call it lucky. It's any given Sunday.
The Panthers are the most confusing team in football.
The Rams should have crushed them. I mean, if you play that game 50 more times, probably the Rams win 47 of them.
But that's the Panthers half their games this year. If they played their opponent 50 other times and they won the one of 50 that they would have.
That's how it's been. So, again, he said it right. He's like, look, he's like, you focus on what's ahead of you. You do what you got to do. There's no overlooking this opponent that we're playing. Because he was saying about the Cardinals. They asked him about the Cardinals, and he was like, Jacoby Brissett's balling. You can't sit here and tell me that the Cardinals, they've been in a lot of close games. Yeah, they haven't been winning them, but they're not overlooking their opponent. They need to win games. We're here to win a game. We're not looking at, who are we playing the week after? We're focused on right here, right now. What do we got? So and he goes, and the Seattle has good coaching staff. So I don't think they're sitting there being like, and even Sean, I don't think Sean McVay sat there the whole week against the Panthers going, hey guys, we have to play whoever it is this next week. So, let's. He was focused on the Panthers. Panthers beat him weirdly. It happens, but I really don't, overlook. So that's why I don't think now you could say once they get into the game and they are beating them, 15-0 or 13-0, and then you could sit there and say, okay, Seattle's defense is crushing them. Let's rest up a little bit, take the running backs out, let Charbonnet play more, let other guys get involved more, because we do have a game next week on a short week that we do have to be ready for. Let's not get injured. That can happen. But I don't think they're out there the whole week being like, yeah, we're not prepping for this game. They're prepped. Their defense is going to come and play. They probably shut them out. How many teams have been shut out by Seattle this week or scored less than 4 points? I mean, I think Seattle has like 3 shutouts this week. I didn't pull it up, but I think Seattle has multiple shutouts this year, and it's been they're going to get the 1 seed. Seattle will get the 1 seed. There is no question about it. Now, actually, crazy, because if the Rams win this week,
no question
about
it. That's quite a statement.
That's bold.
Crazy is that the 5th seed the 5th seed Rams right now can win and jump to the 1 seed. I mean, that's been back and forth. The 1 seed has changed more hands in the NFC, probably more than any year I've seen in recent times. I mean, it's always one team. They got it. It's the Eagles. It's this team. It's that
There's
team.
no dominant team this year in either conference.
That's where you're wrong, Rocky. They're all dominant. I mean, they're besides for Tampa Bay,
Glass half full rather than glass half empty approach.
It is dominant up there. I mean, the Eagles have been struggling. Okay, fine, but after that, Green Bay 9-3, Chicago 9-4, San Francisco 9-4, Seattle and Los Angeles are. I mean, I have them winning here, so I already have it at 11-3, but 10-3. I mean, teams are. Just because I'm in the playoff bracket, that's all right. The playoff machine, so I'm seeing what I already clicked.
They won already. Move on. Week 16. Let's go.
Move on from games. We don't move on, but I really don't.
Seahawks have a one
we'll
shutout. By the way, I was just looking. Just only one.
Okay, 13.5. The bottom line is
last two games they've only given up 9 points. In 2 games combined, they've only given up 9. Pretty good run.
13.5. I'm not picking them to cover that game. Anyway, let's move on to the Lions Rams. No, they won't cover. That's what I'm saying. Lions. Okay, so Lions Rams. The Lions have the second to most playoff leverage this week, tied essentially with the Ravens, which we'll get to in a minute. So the Lions, 75% chance with a win. 75, 3/4 of it. That's very high. With a loss, 40%. So their leverage is 35%. It swings 35% with a win or loss in this game. I'm sure there are tiebreakers, which I didn't go into the playoff machine. Maybe, Meisty, you could shed some more light on that one. But I didn't go into the tiebreakers and how the Lions, winning an NFC game, conference game, how it helps them. But anyway, it's a massive game for the Lions. And, last week was winning last week ensured that the Lions would at least have a 50-50 shot to make the playoffs. Now they just got to keep on going. And it's going to be tough. Listen, the Rams' pass rush is just very fierce. Like, I think it was so impressive how they were able to move on from Aaron Donald, and they just replace him with top-notch pass rushers. And they have, I think, the second best pressure rate in the league this year. Top 5 pressure rate in the league this year for sure. I checked like 2 weeks ago. But Jared Verse is unbelievable. They've really done a great job there. And listen, if the Lions are gonna have any success, they're gonna have to get the ball out quickly because again, their offensive line is banged up, as is a good portion of their defense. And you're gonna need to see Jared Goff get that time to throw up, which he can do. Jared Goff's always been an in-rhythm thrower. Amon-Ra's healthy. Jameson Williams gives you that big play threat. They're gonna need to get the ball out quickly, and it's gonna be tough. I think it's gonna be tough sledding for the Lions, but it's kind of not a must-win, but it's. I don't know, Yehuda. They got to win this game here, but yeah, I think it's going to be a good matchup on Sunday. What do you think?
I have my playoff machine Rams losing. I do think the Rams are going to win this game. Obviously, I'm leading with my pick right away, which they say in the business probably give away too much. But just going back to it, Lions Bears last week of the season. I think is even more consequential for the. Every game now here matters, but I think that one might be even more consequential and have the most leverage. That's what we were saying. Have the most leverage, but yes, this is a huge game, and it's not in Detroit with Matthew Stafford coming back. I mean, obviously we've multiple now with Matthew Stafford coming back to Detroit. But it is still in a dome. Jared Goff's much better indoors. He's from California. I think he played in California college. So he's going to have a lot of family there. He's going to want to show up. And Rams have a very good defense. The best offense in the NFL by DVOA. And the Lions have some really strong man coverage guys. So they're really going to – they play a lot of man coverage and blitz as well. So they're really going to have to I think that's what they've done all this year. So I think they would still want to do that because that's just their strategy. I don't think they would switch it up with Matthew Stafford, read a lot of zones. Obviously, he's probably seen everything, being in the NFL for so long. But this is an amazing game. Oh wow, DVOA has Lions top 5. Didn't realize they were that good. I thought they'd be a little worse. But if they're going to go man coverage on Pookie and Devontae, that is quite an ask for their corners to do that. So that's where it is for me because the Lions have really good. So I think they're going to want to put the Stafford. And there's always this thing about they say they don't. they want to get their guy the MVP. They want Matthew Stafford to get an MVP, and especially if he gets an MVP, I think you've got to make him a Hall of Famer. And like that's like the last thing he's missing because he already won a Super Bowl and he has a lot of counting stats and whatever. But they want him to get. That's why I think he keeps getting all these passing touchdowns. You know, these little fades or to Devontae close to the end zone.
Unstoppable play, by the way.
Yeah, I know. He could go. He's either going in or out, and the defender always chooses wrong.
That one-on-one fit. It's like it's crazy. It's every time. Like for all Devontae Adams fantasy owners, they know it's an automatic touchdown every game.
Yeah, it's amazing. So that for me is the biggest matchup. See, because Kyron, he may play well enough, but they're gonna stuff the run. Detroit has really good run defense on these two receivers, and watch McVay dial something up where tight ends random. That's just what they do. So. I do think it's not do or die for me for the Lions because I still think the Bears are not very good. I love Ben Johnson. I love the shirtless Ben Johnson. That was awesome. And I love watching the Eagles lose, so that was incredible. But I still think the Bears are missing out on the playoffs. And I still think I think Bears-Niners is going to be the highest leverage. That's week 17. That's a Sunday night game. That I think is also a humongous game, but Lions played the Bears last week of the season, and although that is outdoors, so Goff's going to have a tough time, but I still think the Lions can lose this game and still make the playoffs. So I do think, it's huge matchup, and I agree with you. There's a massive matchup, but I don't think it is do or die for the Lions. But that being said, I could see the Lions winning, but I think the Rams are playing for their number one seed. And I know Feisty gave me that whole thing about overlooking the teams. But Sean McVay is a great coach, and that's what good coaches say, is they don't overlook anyone. I think bad coaches, have people overlooking, but they're not overlooking the Lions. The Lions is a huge game. This is Matthew Stafford's old team. They're going to be ready. They're playing at home, quote unquote, SoFi. And they will probably win this. The Rams will.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very simple more of this game. I think that this is, like you said, we know it's a huge game. Huge game for both teams, seeding-wise, for the Lions' playoff hopes. Kind of crazy that the Lions can miss the playoffs. I mean, it still boggles me, but again, that's just because how their division is playing and how the league is playing out for the NFC. But I think it's a toss-up. I think that we might see one of the best games of the year. I think both teams are as locked in can be, no matter who's playing, what position, who's injured. I think we're fully ready to see a full-on Dan Campbell do what he's got to do. He might even hop in the game. I don't know. He might put on the back. Dan Campbell.
Philip Rivers is back. Anybody can do it.
Yeah, Philip Rivers is back. Dan Campbell can come in also. I don't know. But
get Dan out there.
I think
Let's
that's
start a
where
trend.
we're
Get
looking at.
Dan out
We're
there.
looking at a really good game. I personally think the Rams win this game at home. But again, I think I can easily see the Lions winning this game, and it all comes down to that. I think it's going to come down to final couple plays. I also think like it's been for the Lions all season. When Dan Campbell goes for it on his fourth downs, if he's successful, they're going to win, and if he's unsuccessful at it, he's not going to win. And that has been the formula of the year. And you know what? When it's Dan Campbell and the Lions, I am okay with that formula. If it like he said that after last year's playoff loss, where he's like, it didn't work for us. What worked for us all year didn't work today. They have playmakers galore. They have Amon-Ra, who's probably the best blocking wide receiver I've ever seen. I've never seen most wide receivers. It's a known thing. Cornerbacks don't like to tackle, and wide receivers don't like to block, and that's facts. And there's one guy out there, he's like, I want to block. Let me block. And he loves blocking. He will block whoever he has to block to make a play. He is a playmaker, whether it's on the blocking, whether it's catching, whether it's after the catch, whether it's just getting open. He is the guy. Lamar Jackson, by the way, is the next quarterback for the Colts. Anyway, just...
Yeah.
But I think that we're going to see. It's going to come down to those fourth down plays. Can the Lions convert them and move the ball or not? So,
yeah, I mean, I just don't like it's. Golf's gonna have to get the ball out quickly. Jared Verse and Byron Young have a combined 111 pressures, which is like they're both top 12 in the league, and they're 14th and 16th in the league in pass rush run rate. So it's a tough pass rush. So Rams by 5.5. I'm gonna go with the Lions to cover, and I think the Lions are actually gonna win this game surprisingly. What do you think, Meisty?
I'm going to have to take the Rams here. I don't know what's going to happen. This is one of those games I really have no read on. I mean, the Lions have been that flip-flop team all year. They're a pretty team, don't get me wrong, but they look good. Like, if this was any other year, the 7th seed would not be 9-4 right now, or whatever the 7th seed. You know, it's one of those things like they should be in the playoffs. Like, if there was a way to say, all right, this team is in the playoffs just because the fans want them in the playoffs. I mean, they have lost lives, 5 losses. They should be in the playoffs. I mean, like it's something like college football. You know, if you have like 11 wins, 12 wins, you're in the playoffs. I don't care.
Automatic bid.
Automatic bid. Like, oh, who loses? Another team, a division winner, the 4th place division winner, because they obviously were the worst. I don't know how to put it, but like if you win 12 games, you should be in the playoffs. There's no question about it. Well, this is pretty cool. I don't know if you guys are following the news right now. I know I'm interluding here, but that's what I've been reading. But ex-Michigan coach Sharon Moore Michigan fired their coach. Yeah, college football real quick. Michigan fired their coach today.
Jim Harbaugh?
And it turns out, football, Michigan football.
No, Jim Harbaugh, I said.
Oh, Jim Harbaugh. No, his name was Sharon Moore, and he's been arrested ever since then. He got they cut him. He got fired, and then he was shortly afterwards arrested.
That's crazy.
It's pretty crazy. You see what's happening. I mean, they're saying, I'm reading the Twitter comments, and who knows what the Twitter comments are saying. I mean, I don't want to say anything without knowing anything, but they're like he either threatened or he beat his way. I have no clue. Then threatened to commit suicide. They're saying on here, but I'm only reading Twitter comments, and I have no clue what I'm reading. So don't take my word for it here. People probably
many grains of salt. Many grains of salt.
Correct. Beyond. I mean, Twitter comments. It's the whole Dead Sea. Stop. But yeah, anyway, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, we gotta go to the next game. Fine. So we have 2 games. Oh yeah, first Yehuda pick 5.5 Rams. Where are you going?
I gotta go Rams. Rams win, but Lions cover. The Rams probably win by a field goal.
That's a pick. So let's go. We got 2 more games. Packers at Broncos, which is the game of the week. This actually, I think, is the one that Nance and Romo are calling, not the Chiefs Chargers. They would have been if the Chiefs would have been in a different playoff position, but now it's going to be this one. So Packers at Broncos is a juggernaut matchup this season, right? I mean, before the season, a lot of people were kind of predicting Jordan Love to be under the radar MVP candidate, and he's been playing for the most part this season, playing really well. Someone said Jordan Love has a better fadeaway shot than Michael Jordan, but because that back, off that back foot, he chucks it up there. Yeah. It's so pretty. And who is it? Christian Watson 1 week, Romeo Doubs 1 week. I mean, it's always someone else. But anyway, so yeah, and the Broncos, it's interesting because people are still accusing them of the Patriots. Oh, they haven't beaten anyone yet. It's kind of like they have something, but it's not true. They beat the Texans, who we've seen have been quite a formidable opponent this year. They beat the Chiefs, and they beat the Eagles. So it's not like they have no quality wins on their schedule. Everyone's like, well, the Texans have no offense. The Eagles apparently also have no offense. And then the Chiefs apparently also have no offense. So maybe they're not as good as we think they are. But no, the reality is those are 3 solid wins. But this is a real statement game for the Broncos. And it's also just in terms of, if you look projecting forward in their schedule, they have the Chargers, Chiefs, and then Jaguars. I think are the 3 games after this. So it's a big game to take. If they can steal this one, if they want to still have a chance at number 1 seed, they're probably gonna have to steal one here and then get 2 more down the stretch. So it's gonna be tough considering the Patriots have a much easier schedule than them. But Yehuda, what do you think about this one?
I think that there are so many good games this weekend. I didn't realize how many awesome games there were. And I'm going to the freaking Commanders-Giants game in person. I'm going to miss all this stuff. I'm starting to re-question my
Why would you do that? Why?
I don't know. I'm starting to question.
Well, you're going to New York for the. You're going. Oh, because you're going to be in New York.
I'm going to be in New York to see the grandparents for fun Hanukkah celebration. But yeah, this. Oh my goodness. Okay. Very. I don't know.
But this perhaps is the best game of the week.
Yes, this game is so awesome. I love watch the defenders and questionable offense. Jordan Love has been good here and there, but like he will still throw a very interception.
True.
Not J Love. And I love seeing these great defenses against questionable offenses. So, what? DVOA says
WhatsApp. You know what? I'm shutting down WhatsApp, guys. If you need to tell me something, tell me here because it's slowing down my computer. I need this feed better. All right. There you go.
Green Bay. They think Green Bay has a number 3 offense in DVOA and the number 11 defense. So that's a little questionable to me. But yeah, obviously we know Denver's got a great defense, top 6. But this is the Broncos are quote unquote underdogs in this game.
Interesting. What's the line? Actually, I normally lead with that. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
We got the Packers favored by 2.5 on the road. Interesting. Mile high favorite.
Oh wow. Yeah, and that is very interesting. Okay. Yeah, so I think the Packers offense will have some serious issues with this this pass rush. And they're definitely going to try to establish the run with Jacobs, and the Broncos have pretty amazing pass defense. But let's check out their run defense, second best run defense in the league, and they're only like top 10 in yardage pass defense. But sometimes Jordan Love has these pumpkin games where he just plays really poorly and his pass rating in the 70s and stuff. And if that Jordan Love shows up tonight, then I think Denver will have more than enough to win the game, and especially with them being underdogs at home in their own building. I think they say they're not focused on it, but it fires them up. It fires you up for sure, and it will give you that little bit of extra oomph that you need. And the Packers are coming off a huge emotional victory against the Bears. I had to have a 4th down interception to win the game, and not that they're not locked in or anything like that, having just taken first place. But there's something to be said about coming off a big emotional high and then coming back down to earth with the Broncos having won their easiest game of the year. Like usually they're playing these close games where they win last second. Like that's what they've been doing. Is they were trailing, I think, in every single game other than this game, and then some of them, 2 of them they lost, and they've been on a 10-game win streak. But
5 seconds to go, field goal to cover the line. My goodness.
Yeah.
I hope you didn't bet on that one, Meisty.
That was.
Fuck, I'm not. That has to be investigated.
That was the most thing I've ever seen.
FanDuel account had $1 million on that covering. Pete Carroll is a bot. Pete Carroll should be fired from the NFL for that. That is preposterous. That is the word I'm going to preposterous. Asinine, preposterous.
Absolutely flabbergasted.
Yeah, I wasn't watching the game when that happened, and then I saw it happen, and I saw like on Twitter or whatever it was that it happened, and I was like, what did I just watch? Yeah.
But it was an easy victory, though. So they're ready for these Packers coming back home after being away for like a month because they had a bye and then they've had a couple of games. But yeah, I got to take the Packers. I just think their defense is slightly better, and that will be enough. Bo Nix will make enough plays. The offense is boring and it's still not like super efficient or anything, but they'll make enough plays against a solid defense. It'll come down to the fourth quarter. With the Broncos, I gotta take the Broncos here at home. Close one.
Let me introduce you guys to I don't know how much you guys know about this stuff, but Jordan Love Toyota-thon season is upon us. I don't know how much of you guys know about this. Rocky, what do you know about this? You know about this?
I've heard about something along these lines.
Let me give you some stats, okay? With Teodathon, okay, Jordan Love is 11-5, 68.3 completion percentage, 28 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a passer rating of 110. With Teodathon off, 7-9, 59% completion, 29 touchdowns, 20 interceptions, 83 passer rating. Jordan Love, year to year, when it's Teodathon, is fire. That's why he beat the Pack. That's why he wins this in the playoffs 1 week, and then he loses after that because Teodathon is done. This year, Teodathon will be done before the playoffs, and he will lose first round of the playoffs. But give me Jordan Love to ball out once again in Teodathon. And now, I do think, though, in all seriousness, that the Broncos have a serious chance of winning this game. Like the same way, first of all, what will matter hugely for them is the fact that if the Patriots win earlier in the day, right? They play the 1 o'clock. So if the Patriots win earlier in the day, they really are looking at like a unnecessary game here. I mean, a win would obviously be huge for them in this situation, but if the Patriots win, no, regardless of the Patriots win, I'm sorry.
They have the tiebreaker, I think. I think if they both would have the Broncos.
Yeah, so I was wrong on that one. But I think that they're, even if the Bills win, for sure they're playing. I mean, they're playing for it all. So, Denver's playing. I think Denver has more to lose, even though the Packers currently hold the
2 seed, number 2
7 seed.
The number 2 seed. They're technically first place in the division.
They're first place in the division now.
Yeah, the Packers are the number 2 seed. Not only that, the Packers don't have to worry about tiebreakers because of that tie, and they're only half a game behind the 1 seed. And it's interesting, by the way, despite that being the case, they're still giving the Seahawks and Rams by far. Like the Packers only have 12% chance to get the number 1 seed. The Rams have a 45% chance, and the Seahawks have a 32% chance. Despite the Packers only being a half a game behind both of them.
The Bears locked in the Bears winning their game again. So I wasn't looking at. And I was clicking back and forth. Yeah. So the Packers.
So 2.5.
But the Packers, I think something else. I think outside Tampa Bay and the Panthers, even though I think Tampa makes it to the playoffs, I think we're kind of locked into the playoffs here. I know there are a lot of teams getting in. Obviously Detroit can get in.
You think the Bears make it over the Lions? You think the Bears make it over the Lions?
No. Yeah, the Bears are lying. Yes, I think the Bears, even with this schedule, can win enough games. What is it? 2? I think they only need 2 out of the 3 or 3 out of the 4. What is it?
Well, the Lions and Bears play each other. I presume that they probably need to win that game.
Last week of the season, yeah. That's the most important game.
Right. Okay, so let me build that real quick. Even if the Lions beat them, I'll have to take some time to build. But
yeah, me too. I'm not sure about the scenarios there. Who won the first one? The Lions. Won the first one. The Lions won the first one. They kicked in week 2. They beat them by like 30 points. Remember, it was a blowout.
Kick their butts.
Yep. Until they played Snoop Huntley, who's going to be the reason why the Ravens get into the playoffs, like we spoke about last week.
We'll get into that in a second. That's an interesting one.
But just to really quickly build out, I mean, the Bears have to play the Packers again, who they seem to never be able to beat. I don't know if it's Aaron Rodgers scarring them or something, and then they have to play the 49ers, which will obviously also play huge into the week. But the Lions and then Bears in week 17, they both win. Let's say the Lions. I mean, I think that if the Packers, wow.
What epiphany.
Interesting. So if the Lions win out and the Bears win out,
that's not possible because they're playing each other.
Up to week 18, I mean.
Okay. Yeah.
Then it's for first place. It's for the wild card. I mean, pending whatever.
Game does become for the second seed, and but they would both make the playoffs.
Well, most likely. Depends on what the Packers. No, well, it depends what the Packers do.
Right. So let's say the Lions there, and then the Packers.
Seahawks, Rams are going to both make it probably, right? Niners are an interesting wild card. The Niners could fall out of it technically.
I mean, the teams that are looking to get in there, though, I mean, you're talking about a few teams that can get in. Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas.
Dallas is only path is through the division, I think, at this point, right?
No. I found a situation where Dallas can be a wild card.
It's less likely than the division, right? Because the Eagles are 8-5.
Dallas, Dallas has an easy schedule, but I agree. I don't think Dallas finds their way in as a wild card per se. I mean, they could get some help, but they could win the division too, and that would actually make it interesting because then Philly would probably would it would be very interesting. Philly can become a wild card team also, but Green Bay.
Where
I guess there are enough teams. But I really think that we're kind of almost locked into the playoff spot here, into the playoffs on the NFC side, even though there's so many things that can switch around in those 7. But yeah, I guess we're at like 9 teams that have a chance of really being in the mix of the, and obviously only 7 will make it. As to the AFC, I think that we're still, I mean, you have
10 to 12 teams.
Yeah, Miami that's still looking to make the playoffs right now. I'm going to talk until Miami is officially eliminated from the playoffs. I will be talking about Miami going to the playoffs for the rest of the season as long as they're alive. I have Miami going to the playoffs. Every time I go to the playoff machine, I have Miami in the playoffs.
Dolphins Panthers Super Bowl. Book it.
Get you. Oh man, that would be the most entertaining, non-entertaining Super Bowl of all time.
Yeah.
Just because of the storyline behind that. So we got the who did I say? Broncos by 2.5. I mean Packers by 2.5. I'm going with the Broncos for that one. Let's wrap it up with the Ravens game. We talked about the Ravens a bunch already, but try to focus on this game itself. So I think that this is the biggest, according to PFF, the biggest leverage game of the week for the Ravens, obviously. So they say that the Ravens, and I'll draw it out, and Meisty knows the reasons as well, but with a win, have a 48% chance. So they win, they're a toss-up, right? Loss, 12% chance. If the Ravens lose this game, their season is essentially over. And the reason is because of the division tiebreaker, right? The Ravens and Steelers need to end. Basically, the Ravens control their own destiny. Because if they win every other game and they end with the Steelers tied, they'll win because they have the division tiebreaker. Snoop Huntley beat the Bears. The Steelers lost to the Bears. They have the common tiebreaker. That's what Meisty was referring to, Snoop Huntley saving the Ravens season. So it could end up being the case. If the Ravens lose this game, they lose the division tiebreaker. They would need to most likely jump the Steelers by a game by the end of the season, which means the Steelers need to lose almost every game until that Ravens game. So that's why this game is so essential. This is an absolutely enormous game for the Ravens. It's a must-have game, and I'm skeptical about whether the Ravens' chances of winning this game. They're favored by 1.5. Listen, Vegas is a complicated relationship with the Ravens this year, right? The Ravens are 1-5. The Steelers were 4-1, and Pittsburgh still barely had. We're still barely favored to win the division. And then 4 weeks later, the Ravens are tied. They're tied, right? And you're like, oh, this is why Vegas predicted the Ravens, right? All along, the Ravens have 5 winnable games. The Steelers are going to come back down to earth and probably be around 500 as they are every year. We all know why the Vegas did this. And then they're 7-point favorites against the Bengals. I was surprised about that. Even after losing to the Bengals by 18, they were still 6-point favorites against the Steelers. Again, surprising. So now Vegas is starting to learn their lesson and give them 1.5-point favorites and call this game a toss-up, which is what I think it is. Like, honestly, I think the Ravens had the Ravens were handed a free half of football against the Bengals. Joe Burrow was not good in the first half of that game. He was 1 for 9 in the red zone, and they settled for field goals, and every single time, even when they were given a short field. Heck, the Ravens literally, Lamar Jackson had, I would say, his worst play of the season, but he had some bad ones there. But probably his worst play of the season, where he coughed the ball up right to the defender at his own 2-yard line, and the Bengals went 4 straight plays, incompletions, and turned the ball over. They didn't score a single point off of that. So, the Ravens defense came up big in the first half. Then, in the second half, Joe Burrow absolutely slaughtered every single player, including Kyle Hamilton, who got beat for a touchdown, on the defense. So they had 1 free half of football, still lost by 18, albeit some questionable things happened in that game. Game of inches, as we say, but still. So, I'm not liking the Ravens' chances in this game. Even if T. Higgins doesn't play, he didn't play in that game. Trey Hendrickson didn't play in that game. And Joe Burrow's feeling it. We saw this last game and a half. He's absolutely feeling it. I don't see how this Ravens defense, who struggled against good quarterbacks all season, is going to stop the Bengals' offense. So I personally think the Ravens are going to lose this game, Yehuda. But I know you probably disagree with me.
I do disagree with you. I have Ari's tweet up right now. Joe Burrow's presser today felt very reflective. If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I've been through a lot. It's not fun. What am I doing it for? Later on, there's just a lot of things. He is starting to feel that Cincinnati, that Ohio, and starting to feel that hopelessness that wonderful hopelessness as a Ravens fan, that I love to see the the Bengals and Browns, because they are two of the, I mean, obviously the two Ohio franchises and two franchises that have never won a Super Bowl. One of them not even making a Super Bowl, but that losing culture. Two scouts in the entire scouting department for Cincinnati, the cheapest owner in sports. It's all starts to weigh on you, and you just get your shtus, right? No cussing. Get your stuff kicked in over.
Just try not to.
Yeah. Kicked in over and over and beat up over and over and over again. And you play as hard as you can, and your owner doesn't spend any money, doesn't pay any defensive players. You have the worst defense in NFL history through 12 or 13 weeks, right? And then somehow they beat the Ravens. But it all starts to weigh on you. And I said that the Bills-Bengals game was super consequential, because if the Bengals win after having beaten the Ravens on Thanksgiving and then having beaten the Bills, two good, I mean, I don't know, the Ravens are a good team, but beating two great quarterbacks back to back, they got some ruach, they got some spirit, and they're like, oh, okay, we can really come back. But after losing to the Bengals, when maybe he starts to blame himself, even though like lucky, a little bit of lucky tipped deflections, by doing quote unquote all he can except mistake, still kind of unlucky, he starts to feel it. So that's why I was so excited to see the Bengals lose, because they will start to play with less heart and less want to. And I know the Ravens are not a good team, because they just to the Bengals and they just find ways to lose games. But I still think Harbaugh, for as much as we complain about him, he's a better coach than Zach Taylor. Their defense is still number 32 in DVOA. They're still horrendous. They are absolutely atrocious against tight ends. And maybe we'll pay or we'll throw the ball to our $13 million a year man more than one time this game, because he had a solid game against. Maybe, likely, we'll hold on to the ball as he's going into the end zone, as he's in the zone. But yeah, there are huge matchups to take advantage of here. Their linebackers are atrocious. They're terrible. These tight ends are going to be able to run on them. And I just think, like, Joe Burrow coming back obviously gave them a good boost on Thanksgiving, and it's giving them like a hope, like, oh, maybe we can do it. But I just think now, having lost to the Bills, they're starting to lose hope. They have pretty much no room for error, and the Ravens are going to be able to win this game. It's probably going to be ugly, just with all the games the Ravens win this year, but they should be able to target their tight ends, get that run game going, and build a little bit more false hope for me and the the good old boys down in about actually making the playoffs or winning the division. But yes, I think the Ravens can do this. If I panicked after they lost to the Bengals. Like, that was atrocious with all the numbers, not a lot. But if they lose to the Bengals, yeah, season's over. But I don't think the season stays alive for a couple more weeks. I think the Ravens should be able to pull this.
You agree, Meisty?
Yeah. Simple. Bengals win. Season's over. Let's just go to next year. No. Two things to say. The mistake is against the Bengals. They didn't wear all blacks. They got cute and said we can win without them in a primetime game. Should have worn them. Stadium would have been lit. I was there. It would have been nuts. Falafel finally, hopefully, gets benched this week. That could be a changer. The other issue is that Lamar Jackson, and I don't remember if he said it before the Bengals game.
By the way, Ben Cleveland is suspended for 3 games, so he's
trash
probably
also.
not going to get benched. But I'm just saying he's probably not going to get benched.
I don't think Falafel is going anytime soon.
No.
They did work somebody out this year. They did sign someone from Atlanta, but anyway, regardless of that. Yeah, regardless of that, give him a week, he'll be up. Especially for eliminated or whatever. But here's what I have to say. First of all, I don't know if he said it for the Bengals game because I was on my way to the Bengals game, so I didn't know if he said it before. I do know he said it last week. Lamar said it before the game to a reporter that it's a playoff game, and he played like he plays in the playoffs. So And he said also, I think it was after the previous one of the few weeks where he's like, yeah, every game from now on is a playoff game. So playoff Lamar has shown up, and that was where we are holding where playoff Lamar is playing with playoff Lamar.
I don't think he played so poorly last week. I don't think he played so poorly.
And people are screaming about Mark Andrews also that he's not doing it and why everybody's saying he's been like our most consistent positive. I know he hasn't been like, and maybe like deep stats might say different, but by the eye test as a fan, I've had no problems with Mark Andrews this year. I know like, oh, he messed up the game winning, fourth down play. It was to DeAndre Hopkins, and if you watch the whole video, I don't know if 24 is on the Steelers. He was probably gonna pick that ball off. I mean, he was.
It was a tough. I watched the replay a couple times in slow motion to see like, did Nuke really was he that open? I don't think he was that open, but maybe more open than Andrews. You're right.
Like, Andrews went up like this, but you're gonna jump for the ball. Like I don't fall for that. Like your instinct, you go for the ball.
The play is that one guy's in the back of the end zone and another guy is coming across the field in the middle of the end zone. That means that you got to put the ball a little higher so that the guy in the front knows, oh, it's going behind me. It's not Mark Andrews' fault. Mark Andrews has been consistently this year. He's been healthy. I mean, he's been good this year. He's playing well. He hasn't had any big drops or fumbles he's had a few whatever your typical tight end games. I don't think he's been a top tight end. I don't think he's putting up extreme numbers. But I think he is a good player, and I'm a Mark Andrews hater. Don't get me wrong. I am get Mark Andrews. I've been saying that for a long time. But I will say, Mark Andrews is just doing his job this year. I don't have any big problems with him.
That hurricane touchdown, the hurricane play call where the fake tush push where he brought it back for a touchdown. That was awesome.
And the week before, they had the fake tush push pitch to Lamar in the Vikings game, which also was a big play in that game.
Pretty good. I mean, I'm short, but it is what it is. And Isaiah Likely's clearly not the answer. Something's wrong with him in general. Obviously, big play after big play. He makes touchdown catches.
But you know what? But you know what about Isaiah Likely? We would be talking about him very differently if the Ravens won the Bills game in the playoffs, because he made a great catch for the potential game-tying, sliding catch in the end zone. Great pass by Lamar. That whole 2-minute drill was like, where was that 2-minute drill last week against the Steelers? They went, one digression over here, okay? They went 92 yards. Remember what happened against the Bills? The same exact thing happened, right? They got a holding on the punt return. They got sent back to the 8-yard line. They scored a touchdown in less than 90 seconds. And Bateman gets injured on the second play of the game. Flowers already isn't in there. He throws 30 yards to Tylan Wallace. He has a corner out to Andrews for 30 yards. Boom, Likely in 3 plays. Where was that last week? Anyway, digression. But my point is, we'd be talking about Isaiah Likely very differently if he made that play. But your point is still well founded, Meisty. Obviously, there's something about him just being just off in those spots. I agree.
And yeah, just to keep it going. I mean, the Bengals. I think the Ravens do win this game. I think they find a way to win. Again, it's a win or go home situation. There are 7 teams like that this week going in, and you have all these teams going into this go home, big or go home, and some of them do lose, and some of them hopefully do lose, like the Chiefs. But I think the Ravens are looking at to be a team right now. They need a win, and. You found something. I think Lamar looked good last week. I think he's stupid play. He had a stupid, big, dumb, stupid play that he had. Just throwing short throws. The Derrick Henry dump off. I get so angry, and especially when it's my quarterback. I get so angry when a quarterback misses a dump off. Like, it's a dump off. That is supposed to be like your most best you complete dump off. Don't mess up the dump off. And Derrick Henry was so open. Maybe Derrick Henry ran it short. I don't know. You gotta hit him. He's 5 feet away. He's 5 yards away from you. Hit him. He's wide open. Hit him. Derrick Henry had 20 yards ahead of him. There was a blocker. It could have gone a huge play. I don't know what's wrong with the Ravens. I mean, I can tell you, a terrible offensive line, no pressure. The coaching staff is atrocious, and the players have zero trust in their team. There's no as there's no morale.
No pass rush. No pass rush.
There's nothing. I mean, and Marlon Humphrey. I mean, we're podcasting and we're.
They gotta cut Marlon Humphrey. No, I'm serious. They gotta bench him.
We don't hate on other podcasters. We try to be very encouraging to but you're a football player, play football, all right? You gotta go podcast, buddy.
We could barely hear any of that, Meisty. We could barely hear any of that.
So frustrated that the whole podcast is cutting out.
Yeah, right. You just hurricane, like you said.
Can you hear me better now?
No.
What's the weather? It might be raining. My Wi-Fi is going down with it.
Now we hear you.
Okay, so it's better now. As I was saying, we don't like to hate on other podcasters. So, we try to be encouraging to other podcasters. But you're a football player, buddy. So play football. I really don't know what to say about Marlo. We have players, and the issue that makes me really upset is that going forward, Lamar's about to get the big chunk of his contract. The Ravens obviously signed him to a long-term deal saying, hey, win in the early part, collect your money in the second part. Well, he didn't win in the early part, and now we're getting to the second part. Lamar Jackson might have to give up some money here to get an offensive line. He might have to be willing to cut some money out to help his offense, to help his team pay more players. I don't know what the Ravens have to do here, but the Ravens need to look, this season, I'm okay. All right, if we win it all, this can be the point where you're like, you called it off. I'm okay with that. All right, I'll be happy when they win, but I'm ready to miss the playoffs. I have accepted it. God willing, they make the playoffs. God willing, they win the Super Bowl, and all is good and great. But at the same time, miss the playoffs. Changes have to happen. Whether you trade Lamar to the Colts, whether you're firing your whole coaching staff. Bring in John Gruden. I don't care. Do something. Do something different.
There's a lot to break down for the Ravens because the entire season, what's gone, and we haven't really been breaking it down throughout the season. So I think we're gonna have to discuss that a little more as the weeks go. So, Yehuda, you're picking the Ravens. Meisty, you're picking the Ravens. I'm picking the Bengals, and I hope I'm wrong. Then to cover. That's my prediction.
It's 2.5.
2.5 Ravens.
It's 2.5.
All right, we'll wrap it up there, guys. Thanks for watching. We've kept you long enough. This is our first 2+ hour podcast.
Woo, let's go.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
I had Ravens. Rocky, you said Bengals.
Yeah.
Meisty, what did you say?
It's fun.
You say what?
I think the Ravens win, but I also could see the Bengals winning, and our season is over, and I'd be very happy.
Well, listen, we'll circle back. I didn't pick well last week. I don't think neither of us picked well last week, Meisty. So we'll have to. Listen, I'll pick.
That's why we do podcasts and not actual predictions.
We don't actually know what we're talking about. That's silly.
Yeah, come on.
All right, guys, take care. Enjoy week 15 rather in the NFL, and we'll see you next time.
Peace and love.